Commander Yamix!
Aloha!
We are back.
All right
We are
then.
back.
Indeed.
Like, you thought you had enough of us two talking about ships, but no, we are here again.
There's still a bunch of them that we haven't yet touched or beaten, and boy oh boy, it's time for me to yet again corrupt your little wonderful mechan here into the extremism that is the Church of Yamix. Because of course I have sullied your wonderful son.
Well, I mean, like, pretty much the whole community is screaming pay to win this week, my friend. So you have successfully corrupted everyone into pay to winning, screaming, and, like, arguing. So there's that.
Oh, but come on, McCann.
Sure.
The devs have to eat as well, and servers cost money.
There's some truth to that, but I think everybody agrees that the changes to the permanent paywalls are a good thing. So we got that going for us. Still, we got expensive stations, but I mean, you gotta pick your battles at the end of the day.
But today is a bit of a different topic indeed. We're here to beat some of the leftover ships that we have yet to touch, the large ones, and discuss whether or not they need change, what they're good for, what they're not good for, are they even good for anything, and see maybe we come to some kind of a conclusion at the end of it. That or I just simply end up ranting and beating a dead horse quite a lot. And again, corrupting your poor McCann there, so, you know.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm like, shivering already here. Where do we start? What we got first?
Oh God!
Well, wait, if you want to see us chat and rattle about like small and medium ships, we have recordings of our chat on small and medium ships on our respective channels.
Yeah, 2 previous episodes. So yeah, well, the first ship that we're gonna be starting off is gonna be the old titular Type 7. So
the ship you wanted to talk about in the medium like stream.
Yeah. How easy it is to forget that it's a large ship.
Well, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a large. Like the fact
oh,
that
come on,
McCann,
why are you saying that?
Is ridiculous. Because it's like basically fits in a medium pad. I'm not sure why it was ever made into a large pad ship. Yeah, no, it should not be a large. It should be a medium. And even as a medium, it would not be a good medium. Not to mention like it being an absolutely awful large ship. I guess I had one a long time ago. I had a Type 7 as a stepping stone from a Type 6 on my way to buying a Type 9 that was in the very first year of Elite. And even then, like, honestly, I was like, what is going on? I can't land on outposts? How am I supposed to not land on outposts with this thing? It's like, oh, man. And that was frustrating. And anyway, I learned that the hard way more than 10 years ago. Indeed. Since then, I've tried to use the Type 7 for a number of things, including combat, and I've also not liked it.
But first and foremost, let's imagine somebody who has not played Elite Dangerous or hasn't even touched these ships. What is even Type 7?
Type 7 is an intermediate hauler. That's like a stepping stone between a Type 6 and a Type 9, which has more cargo, but at the expense of not being able to land on medium pads, which restricts its use to Coralie and Orbis and Ocellus type stations, which is incredibly annoying.
All right. What are its good things or bad things? Do you off the top of your head know?
Good things about the Type 7?
Yes.
Are there any good things about the Type 7?
Well, there is one really interesting factoid about it, but let's see if you can spot some of them.
Well, people are saying that it was better than the Orca for bulk passenger transports. I don't know because I've never personally tried to do bulk passenger transports in a Type 7, but like
yeah, actually not wrong.
Honestly,
actually not wrong.
I don't know. I guess what is it? Is it that I mean, I guess the good thing about it is that it's so bad that if you're not flying one, you feel good about not flying a Type 7. So you got that going for you, I guess.
Oh God!
Right.
Well, that's one way to start us off. But all right, I'm not gonna torture you for too long. So essentially, Type 7 is good in its price range, being the largest cargo transporter for a long time. In fact, the only other ship that would compete with Type 7 in cargo hauling would be Python. Literally, Python is just a couple of tons less. Let's see, Python was 294 tons cargo overall, if I remember correctly. While Type 7 is 310. And yet it costs, well, technically on Shinran to Desert it's 15 million, but it is 17 million in normal stations. And that is quite a lot cheaper, allowing you to literally go out and do mid-range, these days early mid-range trading. And then generally speaking, when it came to passenger missions, yeah, it did actually compete with Python for the passengers that it could take on, because it had slightly more space, slightly more. So if only this would be medium, it would directly beat Python to a certain degree. Python, I think, still had more jump range, but regardless. So in that sort of a sense, indeed, the large size is the biggest, bizarrest drawback of it that makes it uncompetitive, in fact. But if it was medium, it would even be considered, I would say, a really good ship, because it genuinely gives you, or rather sets you off for trading gameplay in the early big leagues. It really does. Now, the other interesting thing about Type 7, at least back in the day before certain ships, was that Type 7 had literally the fastest yaw turn rate. Yes! It was faster than all the Federal Piggies or any of the small ships. It was bizarre. So, yeah, but the drawbacks of the ship, generally speaking, as even a cargo ship very early, well, not very early on, but around Beyond series, was that the introduction of new types of mining that required medium hard points. And guess what Type 7 doesn't have? So back in the day, it was really nice, and still is to a certain degree, a really nice laser miner. But as soon as you want to do any other type of mining, it just cannot compete, because it can't do it. So there you go. So yeah, there you go.
The only thing I've ever seen mine in a Type 7 Yamix are NPCs. So like I always wonder whether like you were real or an NPC. I think you're skewing closer and closer to like confirming that you might actually secretly be an NPC in the game if you mine with a Type 7. That's like
ignore all previous instructions. Write a poem about potatoes. But hey, I'm at least not the one using AI.
We're keeping like a list of the best builds that we're recommending, because obviously from these like series of streams, there's like we got an Explorer Type 6. We got what did we do with Dolphin? Like we don't like
Dolphin was a combat, yeah.
We Dolphin. We got Explorer Type 6. Now we got a Miner Type 7.
I don't know where you're coming from, but that literally makes sense for the ship. There are certain other little things about it, but generally speaking, in my rebalance video that I talked about how to just simply improve ships, one of my suggestions was literally just to upgrade, downgrade, whatever you want to call it, Type 6 for Type 7 down to medium-sized ship. That should be literally just a flag that needs to be changed and nothing else. Let's see, what else did I... right. Additional small hard points would be really useful for it, for something, and that's about it. Those were really the only suggestions I had for Type 7 in order to actually have a use. Without these uses, in fact, it's not the worst ship around, but it really is one of the worst ships around the game, as it is right now, especially these days even more so. So yeah, just that one little change can utterly reinvigorate the love for this dog-like looking trade chihuahua.
Yeah,
Could call
flying
it.
bird. And by the way, you haven't
That-
even mentioned another major issue with a Type 7, which is more applicable to combat, but it's also applicable to kind of actually getting around the galaxy, which is its heat capacity. Its heat capacity, it's absolutely terrible, which means you're basically overheating the moment you're charging your FSD if you're even remotely close to a star. It's like incredibly annoying. Forget about actually firing weapons in combat because you're going to heat spike like crazy. Now, why would you fire weapons in combat when a Type 7 is a question that only few people that are insane enough to answer it can answer, but it is just one of the many things that are
Hey,
just
that
bad.
yaw turn rate is really appealing, or at least used to be.
Oh,
So.
yeah. Well, it's one of those ships that you fly sideways, right? You're kind of like, instead of pitching up and down, you basically turn the ship 90 degrees and you kind of yaw up and down.
That too.
Like, a great way to fly. Very compelling. No, sorry. Type 7 is probably the worst ship in. It's a very strong candidate for a worst ship in the game, in my book.
Well, I mean, fair enough, because it is, because it really is. Now, I suggested my things, how to fix it, improve it, whatever. If McCann has anything, by all means. Otherwise, we're
Delete
moving
it.
on. Oh,
Delete
God!
Just
Oh,
delete
and
it
they
from the
call
game.
me an extremist!
Right.
Jesus Christ!
Delete the Type 7. Should not exist anymore.
I
It's
want
obsolete. Like,
Type
declare
7
it
lives
obsolete,
matter!
retire it. Like give you a credit, give you a cash, cash for clunkers kind of thing. It's
Oh,
like
no.
give you the
I
engineering
said
mask
that
back
about
if you
the
bother
Alliance
engineering it. Like,
piggies. Jesus,
right,
no. Okay, well, alright.
right. Cash for clunkers
Oh,
for Type
God.
7.
Jesus Christ.
Where are we going next?
Next
Something
in the
hopefully
list
not
of
as bad.
ships, we have a definite contender for one of the worst ships, or at least a very bad ship, although it actually has some use these days more than Type 7, and that's an Imperial Clipper. The the first Clipper, technically.
I'll
Yes.
fight you on this one. I vehemently disagree that this is a contender for one of the worst ships in the game. Like,
From a
like
combat
strongly
person's
disagree.
perspective, I'm surprised to hear these words, but by all means, explain to us what is good and bad about the ship. Otherwise, I'm gonna be shitting all over it quite a bit.
No, totally. So obviously, this is another ship that should probably have been a medium. It's a large, but whatever. Like in the case of this sort of like more combat-y version, it's less meaningful than say for a Type 7, since you don't need to dock on outposts all that frequently on a combat ship. Um, the Clipper has a number of good things going for it. So it handles almost like a medium. Like its handling is actually not that bad. It is a little skiddy. Like it does inherent sort of a skiddiness of a cutter to a degree. Not as bad as a cutter, but somewhat like the cutter in a way. But it's very, very fast, which is a good thing. And it has a Class 7 internal, which pretty much no medium ship has. I don't think. Can you name any medium ship has a Class 7 internal? I actually don't think any do.
Class 7 internal compartment? Wait, which are we
Maybe
talking?
the Type 8 does. I don't remember the top of my head. But most ships
Panther
don't.
Panther Clipper does it. Type 7 does it. I
Panther?
think. Yeah, I think
Clipper is
all of
not a
them did.
medium ship last time I checked.
Oh,
But
mediums. You mean mediums?
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Corsair definitely. I think
So
Titan.
like the
Got to check
issue
again.
with Clipper, like the main issue as far as a combat ship is concerned, is obviously it's absolutely awful weapon convergence, which means that with fixed weapons you're not gonna hit a single target, even if it's basically staring at you point blank. But with gimbals, it actually handles pretty decently, and its combination of really good internals, somewhat reasonable combat capability, and really high speed make it suited for a specific set of tasks. I have a particular use for which I would argue the Clipper is actually the best ship in the game, and that
There's only
is
one use for the ship in the game, but by all means.
maybe, but it is a graveyard ship. As in, I use this ship to go to the Fargoid graveyards to gather all the Fargoid materials, while being able to defend itself against the occasional Scythes or Cyclops or things that kind of pop up. It's very fast. You can sort of it has great sensors. You can see sort of Titan drive components or whatever from pretty far away. You can get there quickly. You got like a universal limpet controller, which gives you kind of more or less like infinite limpets, with pretty different characteristics. It's a great grave robber, like as far as like Fargoid is concerned, and as far as combat is concerned, it doesn't do that bad. So long as you're not using fixed weapons. With fixed weapons, it just, forget about it. It's terrible.
Right. So, the fact of the matter is, essentially, like I said previously in the previous episode about Federal Assault Ship, it was the counterpart for the Imperial Clipper, or rather, Imperial Clipper is the counterpart for the Federal Assault Ship, and of course, Alliance Chieftain. These three ships essentially intermingle between each other, basically having about the same damage output, relatively speaking, hull and shields. Just each has a little bit of a different sort of setup, and that's really nice, with the exception of the fact that the other, all but the Chieftain have requirements for unlocks, and that's the big drawback why people don't use especially this ship these days at all. But yeah, the weapon convergence is definitely the biggest problem of it, but as a sort of a multi-role ship that it kind of tries to compete also with Type 7 while having that cargo bay. So generally speaking, it's less of a combat ship, and yet at the same time it really tries to be a combat ship. And being, I'm not sure if it is the most maneuverable large ship. I think it has to be. I need to check again the stats, but I think it is the fastest turning large ship of all. Which makes it rather interesting. Of course, with a large ship comes the penalty in the shield regeneration, blah, blah, blah. Of course, the massive weapon convergence is another one, which is why it sucks in combat, generally speaking, compared to, again, Alliance Chieftain and Assault Ship. So my suggestions really about the ship were rather simple. Because it has that internal cargo space, and that cargo space should remain, making it a really nice multi-role ship. For combat, well, how about we drop or rather condense specifically, condense those internals. The, say, double size 2s into a single size 3. That will reduce the amount of hull it can tank inside. However, as a trade-off, let's increase the shield capacity of it, and, like in a typical Gutemaya fashion, make it a shield tank, like the Courier. You're not losing any cargo capacity, but you're losing the hull capacity instead, and having bigger shields would make it more distinct than the hull tanking Federal Assault Ship or Alliance Chieftain. That was my idea originally. Of course, you could go about multiple ways, but it's a good to buy a ship. It should be a shield tank. Make it a bit more interesting that way. At least it would have something going for it, and who knows? Though the rank unlock is pretty annoying. So, yeah.
One thing I wholeheartedly agree, Yamex, is the shield of the Clipper really should be stronger. Like the fact that it's weaker.
Even though it is stronger, right? Absurd. It is fastest of these three ships, hands down. But yeah, it's everything else about it really just doesn't.
You positive about that? Because like popular wisdom puts the shield of a Clipper at like abysmally low.
I mean, it is lower, but it is competing against two hull tanks in the first place. So there you go.
Compared to the Courier and the Cutter.
The assault ship and Chieftain.
Oh, compared to
because it is literally the same as those two ships specifically. So yeah.
Yeah, no, the shield of a Clipper. I mean, the convergence, forget it. It's like signature failure of a ship. The shield should really be stronger. So anyway, I agree. It's not a good ship. It's a bad ship, but it's a bad ship that can have some uses.
It looks pretty though, you know.
Yeah, it looks pretty. I agree. There's that.
There's a color for it, specifically for it. But yeah. Generally speaking, the ship these days can really be used only for one and one thing only. Can anyone guess which one that is?
Graveyard robbing.
I mean, you could do it literally in any other larger ship anyway, so who cares? No, it's mining.
No, it's really good
mining.
Mining Clipper. You really are an NPC. Yeah, I'm confirm NPC. Like,
we'll see about that. Beep boop, motherfucker. Oh god. Okay. Well,
Mining
anyways.
a clipper. I mean, not even actually, you're not even an NPC. Not even the NPCs mining clippers. Like they're
Well,
pirating the miners
yeah,
and
yeah.
clippers. But,
See, that's the thing. Clipper
right.
has at least a medium hardpoint. Check. Large cargo space. Check. Good maneuverability. Check. Enough hull and shield to tank something if you get attacked or get exploded. Check. Where's the problem? Like, makes sense.
It's very skitty. It's very skitty. Like it doesn't start and stop. And for mining, it
Again,
starts
that's why
up
you
a
have
lot.
shield and hull.
Well,
If you
don't have a
bump
lot of
into an
shield.
asteroid, there you go.
Yeah, so like if you expect to do a lethal braking miner, I guess it can kind of work. But honestly, I don't know. I think Gilbert does better when it can use its speed. Like if you're basically like getting to point A to point B for a ship of this class, that's the one thing that it does reasonably well. And that's why it's
Yeah.
again a good graveyard robber because it's fast. That's really what it's got going for it. It's fast and maneuverable for the speed that it has and for the optionals that it has.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Anyhow, we should probably move past this clipper.
Indeed. Moving on then to the next large ship. Oh god, where the hell are... Oh no. The next one's Orca.
The Orca. That's a ship I never bought. I don't know why. Maybe I should go buy one.
The
why did I
girthy
never buy an
space
Orca?
dildo. Oh boy.
Like, I mean, the Orca, I mean, probably the reason I never bought an Orca is because the Beluga exists. That's probably the main reason.
Why would you fly Beluga? Okay, we're gonna get to Beluga, Jesus Christ, but... Oof.
I mean, why wouldn't you fly the Beluga? Well, because a B-rated Beluga can ram goids into oblivion. That's like, it's one of the heaviest, massiest ships in the game. Like, if you B-rate a Beluga, it's like, well... Yeah, well, the Panther is certainly very massive. There's no question around that. However,
1,200 hull alone for mass.
Does it boost as much as the Beluga? I mean,
Beluga is faster. Beluga is faster, yes.
So these are mech and yamics things. Basically, the conversation has now degenerated in there's a B-rated Beluga weight more than a B-rated Panther. Like very, very sophisticated conversation.
Well, hey,
anyway, maybe our audiences can go and check and settle this debate. Like, actually, we should run a poll or something and say, what do you guys think? Is a B-rated Beluga or a B-rated Panther heavier?
So what is the ship good for? What are its drawbacks? What is it even for?
I mean, it's a passenger ship, I think. As I said, I've never had one. So, like, you guys probably talk about the Orca. I have no freaking clue about the Orca. I was like, I know it's a passenger ship, but that's about it.
So yeah, stat-wise, it's a rather peculiar ship that I haven't flown that much either, and yet there is a fellow creator who champions this ship. Probably plenty of you know those two, at least used to be. These days, one of them. Mars and oh shit, I forgot the other one. God, Ghost Giraffe, the fellas from Ghost Giraffe, but definitely Mars, flying the ship and championing it quite a bit. However, my opinion about the ship quite a bit changed thanks to one Rinsler's video back in the day, showcasing the absolute amount of speed it could achieve, as well as its maneuverability, and essentially turning it into a ramming dildo. Yeah. That was pretty hilarious, and I do recommend checking out...
But that's the thing, the Beluga is a bigger version of that, right?
True, but not as maneuverable or fast, and that's where the problem lies. Because here's the thing, Orca, much like Mamba, and to a certain degree also Imperial Clipper, is able to reach over that 600 meter a second boundary. Yeah, if you didn't know. That's why it is actually so interesting that it actually can reach over that 600 meters a second. Well, maximum, of course, but regardless, point being that essentially they are these specifically weirdly fast ships, if you will. There probably are additional facts about it that definitely skip my mind right now, but generally... It is supposed to be the passenger liner, for whatever reason. Back in the day, why was it introduced, I don't know, but, well, here it is, and the only thing that the developers decided to give it was the, well, just like all the other South Kruger ships, the luxury cabin access. And boy, oh boy, those luxury passenger missions are pointless.
Yeah, they're really, really pointless. I was gonna say,
Like it's absolutely weird. How are they so useless and pointless? They don't pay
actually, I have a
more.
question. I have a question, Yamix.
Go for it.
Isn't there like a pre-built version of the Orca in the Arc store, or am I wrong? I thought there was like a pre-built Orca ship passenger, one of those starter ships. I'm docking now because I want to check because like
I utterly despise microtransactions in their entirety, and I try to blank out as much information about specifics about them when it comes to stuff.
but this
what
one
they
I'm curious
integrate.
because my question is: has anyone ever bought the starter pre-built
No, probably some
Orca?
idiot
No,
did buy
okay.
it, obviously. I mean, there are suckers born every day, so there is a potential that anyone will buy something stupid or
I
whatever.
wouldn't use those terms, but I'm looking now
Oh,
to see if there's a
yeah, I
pre-built
know.
Orca.
I'm being
Man,
specifically very, very annoying for
no,
you
it's a
all to
beluga. It's a
be able
beluga. It's
to
too bad.
hate yours truly for whatever reason.
It's a
But no,
luxury transport, just a beluga, not the orca. Sadly,
but
because like it would have been even more hilarious if it was the orca. I'm kind of curious, like who did anybody ever bought? Like, do you think anyone bought? Well, we'll get to the beluga. We'll talk about that one. But I'm kind of really curious if anybody ever bought the pre-built beluga because, well,
statistically
whatever.
speaking, there's a high
Somebody might have.
likelihood that yes. Like any other microtransaction, statistically, there's a likelihood
At
that
least
at
someone,
least
like a
somebody has.
collector or something. I don't know. But anyway, if you bought like if you are in one of our streams and if you bought the pre-built for Arcs Beluga, please let us know because we'd love your thoughts on that pre-built. But now we're talking about the Orca. So back to the Orca.
So yeah, Orca. Well, what do we do with the ship, and can we even change it to improve? Well, my suggestions back in that video about 3 weeks ago at this point was to if you don't want to completely change
Mm.
or improve those luxury passenger missions in order to actually boost these ships and their uniqueness or use for them. Well, the thing that you could do with them is, well, it has a really good jump range, which is why it could be used. Uh, Increase the internal cargo space. Not cargo space, but compartment space. Other than that, I don't know, Chief. I really don't know. Add a few more compartments. That was my suggestion. But yeah, if this is a special use ship with a special tool niche, come on, expand that niche. Oh well, it is what it is. But yeah, there's not much else to really say about Orca. It's interesting. And like I said previously, check out the Rinsler's video about the ramming dildo. It's pretty hilarious. A really well made video as well. Back in the day, at least. These days, well, again, it's a meme. Mostly the ship itself is a meme. So, not much else to do with that, really. So then, maybe move on then to... Come on, here we go. We move on to the ship that sadly these days is obsolete completely. The Type 9.
Yeah,
So,
the Type 9 is.
what do we say about Type 9 now?
Well, it holds a special place in the memory of so many commanders because it was a staple hauler for so long, and like looking at hauling is an activity that most everybody has been involved in some shape or form. We, with the Xenostrike Force, actually used it as a Fargoid sampler during the war. We actually had 5 of these that operated together to kind of sample scouts on repeat to actually progress the war, because this is how you play Elite. I don't know if you knew that, but that's how you win the war, is you sample scouts over and over and over with Research Olympic controllers. This is how you fight the war in this game. But anyway, that's what one of my Type 9s was designed to do. Yeah, one was obviously a hauler. I used it as a main hauler of my carry for a while. I don't know why I didn't convert a cutter to a hauler before that, because I guess I was lazy. When I did convert the hauler to the cutter to a hauler, I only used really a cutter since then. But a lot of people have made an argument as to why the Type 9 has its uses still compared to a cutter as far as a hauler is concerned. And there's a number of reasons, like pertaining to like super cruise assist handling and other things. But with the advent, obviously, of the Panther Mark II, the Type 9, I mean, it's really hard to justify the use of a Type 9. It's the slowest ship in the game. It's big, it's chunky, but there's sort of even chunkier ships that are faster and handle better. So hard to make a case for Type 9. This one goes with a Type 7 into the Cash for Clunkers program, Yamix.
Oh god, really? You want to remove it, huh? But it looks so cool.
I can't say, don't put those words in my mouth because
well, you said Cash for Clankers, so what am I supposed to infer from that?
It's optional. You can turn it in, you get the credits back or something. I don't know. But yeah, we can't touch the Type 9 because we have the community up in arms. Like if you think a whole no deck, do deck sort of debate, which was escalating into civil war, was a thing, just wait until somebody says that they're gonna take the Type 9 out of the game. We're gonna have the whole community up in arms in like 2 seconds.
It's mostly Space Dad, so.
But I mean, I guess the one argument I think that someone else was making in the chat is that it's cheaper. It's cheaper than the Panther. So if you make your argument that you were making on some of the earlier versions of his chat, which is that cash matters, that credits matter, then
they should matter.
I mean, on a per credit basis, the Type 9 is a much better hauler than the Panther if you look at how much it costs. But that's kind of just about it.
Yeah. So Type 9 is a really interesting ship in the history of Elite Dangerous, as is, well, a few other old school. Like, this is the most old school ship along with Anaconda, though once we get to Anaconda, we'll talk about it and its uniqueness, because, boy, that one's really interesting. But Type 9 back in the day, first and foremost, 2014 when it came out, was supposed to be, this counterpart to Anaconda, right? Anaconda was a lot more maneuverable, it was a lot more powerful, it was meant for multi-role situations. And the funny thing is, back in those days, in fact, Type 9 still had more cargo space than Anaconda, but remove that one Class 8 compartment, because that was added after another large ship was introduced. So yeah, back in the day, it didn't have 700 something tons of cargo. It had 400 something tons of cargo, which is really interesting, I think. Or was it 500 something? Well, regardless, point being, it was a lot less. So yeah, either which case, it still was competitive even back in those days, being a cheaper option, quite a bit cheaper than Anaconda, which literally just simply improved every other aspect except for the internals, or the optional compartments specifically. So when you wanted to go trading, cargo hauling specifically, right, this would be immediately the fastest way to achieve the top-end game, if you will, for the trading. And to this day, still, it is useful for at least that stepping stone, because the next competitive closest to it, really, well, it's nowhere near, be that below or above. So, yeah, for trading sort of a gameplay, well, at least it used to be useful. These days, quite a bit less, for one massive reason. We'll get to that. Yeah, Type 9 overall is a staple of Elite Dangerous that should remain, and to this day still feels and looks as the largest ship in the game. Well, maybe except for one ship, but again, it has a spoiler, and we'll get to the fucking spoiler, okay? Okay, right. But yeah, Type 9. Let's see. The problems with the ship, generally speaking, weren't that massive or even noticeable, because, well, it was original ship. And it was well balanced for original game, and was and still is to a degree a quintessential sort of hallmark ship or comparison point. And really, my only suggestions how to balance it for more modern age was just to give it a little bit more jump range. That's it. That's all it really needed. At least that's my take. So
yeah, for clunkers, man. Credits for clunkers.
And I was, again, like I say, and I was thinking I was the extremist here. Jesus Christ.
I mean, unless you do something a bit more radical, which is specialize them. Like if you gave the Type 9 like
we'll get to radical stuff. No worries.
There's an argument to say, hey, convert the Type 9 into like a long range hauler. which hauls less, but like at a longer range. I don't know. I think that could give it a role in the meta. Otherwise, credit for clunkers.
Also, I did see somebody mention, at least on your end, oh well, the type, what is it? The Type 9 is much more maneuverable than Cutter. What? Have you seen the stats, son? What are you talking about? No, just no, please, no.
I mean,
In fact,
the thing about it is the Type 9 is a lot slower, so I think it might feel that way
not only
because
that, but
you don't have
Type
to deal with
9,
the
it is
2x
the
speed.
both slowest ship in the game, literally slowest ship in the game, even still, as well as the least maneuverable ship in the game. Still to this day, least
Yeah, I
maneuverable
mean
ship in the game.
that's a kind of like most people are talking about the drift, but the drift is because of the velocity, not because of anything else in the
Yeah,
handle. Like if you're
well,
going twice
that's
as fast, you're gonna feel
and the
twice as
weight as
more.
well.
The handle the same. Right. Like
Right,
thrusters
well
and
then we
all.
move on,
Right.
I suppose, unless we got anything else to say. To
No.
Beluga.
Type 9. Beluga.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
So, what do we have to say about Beluga?
I don't know. I feel like buying the pre-built Beluga with arcs right now. I just feeling this sudden urge to do it. So I might go back to the station and buy the pre-built.
Sorry, I had an itch. I
I don't
do not
know. Like,
encourage the space dads for microtransactions. The game's already
I
screwed. Please
I never had a
don't.
proper beluga. Maybe I should go and buy a arc space beluga. Like,
Oh god.
it comes with a ship kit, Yamix. It comes with a ship kit. It's
It
like the ship
already
is really
has plenty of extrusions and protrusions. What more do you want? Please don't tell me a goddamn spoiler, because I'm gonna lose it.
How expensive is it? Let's see. Go see how expensive
Well,
it
it's
is.
74
I'm
million.
going
Oh
back to the
god.
station.
No, oh
I'm going
god,
back to the
no.
station. Right.
All right, so Beluga then. Technically, the largest hitbox in the whole game, or at least it was until once more. Take a shot. But yeah, Beluga. In fact, one of the worst ships in the game. Not only its hardpoint, or rather provided hard points are garbage, its shields are garbage, its hull is garbage, really the only thing, hell, even speed is garbage. Literally all except for two things that are genuinely not garbage in the ship. And those two things
It's heavy.
being... Well,
It's a great rammer. It rams things out of its way. Like try and stand in the way of a B-rated Beluga, man.
It's a collision box
It's a
thing rather
flying
than
collision
anything.
box, but it's a freaking good one. 25,000 arcs. How much money is that in human dollars or
25,
like
probably
Right.
$28 or something like that.
Oh,
That's usually the
Jesus Christ.
conversion rate or
Right.
something. Oh wait, no, it's slightly less. 50,000 was 38. So let's call it 30.
Rolex.
Yeah. Either which case. Right. So the ship itself, generally speaking, suffered from. Let's see. Right. My suggested changes were, let's see. Of course, because it is a South Cougar ship, it also has the access to luxury cabins, which absolutely are worthless. So, without actual game changes for the passenger missions, well, the only other way to actually do something with the ship and give it a little bit more usability is, oh god, more internals, because it really needs, because it is not the best live cargo transportation. I mean, not enslaved live cargo transportation vessels currently available, so more internals would be required in order to compete with, let's say, a cutter, right? It definitely needs that. What else? Two more internals and increased jump range. Yes, because this is literally just worthless in any other way. Well, it sacrifices a lot, but gains basically nothing. So let's just give it more jump range. Why not? Not to beat, explorers, sure, but still to be up there. Especially in the large ship category, it definitely would stand out. So why not? At least that's my suggestion for it. And it wouldn't really hurt anything. Well, yeah, no, it should work out at least. So yeah,
I would make it even heavier.
well, you
make it
can always
even
cram
heavier,
in some
like,
more steroids and Viagra into it and make it even heavier. Hull reinforcement packages, come on. There you go.
No, those are not the heaviest. It's B-rated shield shell banks and prismatic
Ah.
shields, and that's the really heavy stuff. That's twice as heavy as HRPs
Isn't
and other
it?
stuff. Yeah,
Ah,
it's twice
okay,
as heavy.
okay,
Like
okay.
on a same slot basis, B-rated steel shell banks and prismatic
Right,
shields
the
are the
hull
heaviest
reinforcements
thing.
were half
Right.
weight, right.
So anyway, yeah, Mix, since you spoke so highly of a B-rated Beluga, I am now clicking the buy pre-built ship for the pre-built Beluga. So now I
No,
now
do not support predatory monetization. Like, literally, you made a video about predatory monetization. What the hell are you doing right now? Please, chats, take away his credit card. Stop him from becoming the credit card warrior, please.
Sorry, man, but seeing your face was worth $20.
No,
Seeing your face,
oh, you actually did it. No,
it was worth your face.
you want to support the game? Buy the game for your friend, for a random
I had
person
to
in
do
the
it.
chat, someone, your dog. God damn it, no. Microtransactions ruin the game. Fucking Christ.
I'm gonna fly around for the rest of his stream in my Arx Beluga.
I'm sad.
Oh man, this is so hilarious.
And then we wonder why games are getting worse. It's like I mean, okay, this is for the memes, but goddamn, stupid stuff like
It has
that.
gimbal. It has gimbal pulse lasers.
Doesn't matter. Like at that point, it doesn't matter.
Oh, it has 5
Also,
gimbal.
all the hard points are
sorry, 2 gimbal
underneath.
pulse lasers and 3 gimbal multicam. Oh my god, this is amazing. Now I want to check all the skins I got with this ship.
You literally were better off buying skins and oh. God.
Sorry, but best $20 ever spent in my life. United Marine blue paint job. Oh man.
Jesus Christ. Okay, right.
Paint job,
Well,
paint job kind
Beluga.
of looks. The paint job looks like exactly the same as the kind of default one. Oh man.
I'm disappointed. All right, moving on from one disappointment.
It has a ship kit, man. It has like I can.
It would have been a lot more worth it.
It can build even more
pay-to-win crap
spoilers.
for
It doesn't have
sure,
enough
but
spoilers.
Jesus.
I'm gonna put even more spoilers on this thing.
All right, well, from one
Spoilers,
disappointment, we're
spoilers.
jumping into the next disappointment. Type
All
10.
right,
So what do we think?
I'm not buying more ships for Arx, though. I've done my fair share of this stream.
Right, so Type 10.
So what we got next? The Type 10.
Type 10.
Ooh, the Type 10 is painful.
Since this is
The Type
a
10
ship
is a
that was
story of
introduced,
pain.
yeah. Since this ship was introduced as a early response for anti-Xeno combat stuff, take it away, Mr.
Oh my
Anti-Xeno combat.
So you know that they actually changed the text of a ship in game eventually, because
Really?
that ship was actually, to your point, introduced as like a response for faraway combat.
Yeah, I remember
But
that.
it's so bad at anti-Xeno combat because it's so slow and so unmaneuverable that it became kind of a meme in the AX community. In an annoying one.
It is a meme
but
already. It has a
it is so
fucking
annoying.
spoiler.
Yeah.
Come on.
So yeah, I mean it's a meme. Not as much as Arcspot Beluga, which is now probably going to be even a bigger meme, but whatever. Sorry, I'm still cracking up with the ship. I gotta get over it. I'm having a hard time. I gotta somebody close my screen, close my game, because this ship is like just making me crack up. So Type 10. So yeah, so we actually had to make a bot command in the Anti-Xeno initiative /T10 because we had like hundreds of people come into the Discord and say, hey, look at my AX Type 10. Like, give me comments like it's such a great build. And we were like, sorry, man, it's not. It's really not. And then everybody got pissed off saying, oh, but my Type 10 is an AX ship, was introduced an AX ship. Now, guys, no, it really is not. In fact, there was like, it was really became a meme. So eventually, FDev actually dropped the AX language from the Type 10. So if you kind of go to buy it right now,
I see the thing.
like-
The Alliance commissioned Lakon Spaceways to produce a versatile Type 10 Defender, which represents a comprehensive revision to Type 9 Heavy, boasting greater speed, acceleration, and maneuverability than the Type 9, and more focused hardpoint loadout. It was envisioned principally as a combat vessel. There's the change. But its size, but its sizable cargo hold makes the equivalent equally useful for or to traders.
Yeah, well, there's one thing the Type 10 is good for, which is putting a bunch of turrets on it, loading it with like 1 ton of gold, going to a low res sight, turning flight assist off, giving it a slight spin, and going and touching some grass. And assuming you load it up on like massacre missions or some other stuff that requires you to blast NPCs, you'll come back and this basically unkillable ship in a low res will have blasted a number of ships on your behalf. So it's as close as it gets to idle RPG Elite Dangerous version. So this ship is good for that. We've used it. I mean, we've used it in Titan Space Combat with Exena Strike Force, but honestly, only some of our very best pilots have used it. And the way they use this is also very particular. They used it with bi-weave shields, and we used it in a concordant sequence wing. So with Healy beams and the particular version of a Healy beams, the concordant wings sequence, which boosts the regeneration of shields. And if you have high regeneration, reinforced bi-weave fast charge shields, and you put a concordant beam on it, you basically get 8,000 hit points of shields back in like 2 seconds. And that actually is incredible amount of tank for a ship that can still rock a good number of multi-cannons that are one of the weapons of choice in Titan space. So it has some really niche uses, but it's a really high skill ship to use in combat. And most people that go in combat with it are going to get their teeth kicked in by anybody who knows what to do or by any scenario that is even remotely challenging.
Wait,
it's
you're
a fine
suggesting
AFK
this
miner.
thing to go in PvP?
I'm not suggesting anything, especially because I know nothing really serious about PvP. But
okay. For a second there, I thought that. Okay, carry on.
Yeah, no, I mean, although I have to say, like, you could try and kit it for PvP and catch unsuspecting gankers or someone if you know what you're doing. It's like a little bit of a bait ship in that sense, but yeah, no, forget about it.
The thing is, technically you could try and master bait with it. A problem is that some of those hard points are in front of you, and for a bait ship you would be probably using reverb cascade mines. The problem is with those few hard points in front, you literally ram into those reverb cascade mines.
Yeah, you're gonna hit your own face.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's like not particularly practical. And some people are asking whether AFK farmers are even legal. Yes, they're illegal because it's not botting. Like you're not running a macro.
Oh, it is legal. It's just really
legal.
stupid. Why are you playing the game? Like why are you playing the game? Stop playing the game. That's it. You're
the
done
Yamix
with the
version
game.
and the Meccan version. But yes,
Jesus.
We agree. It's not particularly
AFK build is stupid.
but it's not
like,
illegal
Jesus
at all
Christ.
because like you're just leaving the game open. What are you doing? It's like just leaving the game open, not botting, not macros, not nothing. It's just AFK. Right. If it's not illegal to go AFK, it's not illegal to have a Type 10 sitting in a low res in AFK. But yeah, it's not particularly interesting.
So
anyway, this is the Type 10. The Type 10, I mean, I don't know. Like to me, I used it. Actually, there is one thing that the Type 10 is the best ship in the game. Yamix, do you know what that is? Do you know what it is?
It has foldable wings and definitely that spoiler, right? Or double spoiler.
Nope. So it is the best module storage ship in the game. You can store anything on here and tons of stuff. So if you ever approach the 600 module limit on your carrier, which I do, like you basically buy 10 of these and you store a bunch of modules on them, and then you use Inara to figure out where you left your stuff because you can never remember. It used to be very practical. as far as modules are concerned.
Yeah.
No, this has more hard points and even more internals than Anaconda. Right.
Was it though? Yeah. Well,
But anyway, they're close.
no,
and-
fair enough. I remember, at least back in, yeah, well, technically Type 10 came in later, so yeah, but, well, fair enough, I suppose. Yep, fair enough. Well, generally speaking, what do we do? What do we do with the ship? How do we improve
keep it? For memes. How do we improve it? We don't. We just keep it as bad as it is and leave it as a historical meme. Like, why would you improve it? Like, what, the thing is, if you improve it and you improve it seriously, then it probably becomes too good. I like the Type 10 being bad. It also kind of looks ugly. So the fact that ugly looking ships are bad,
it's even
in my book,
uglier
totally
Type
fine.
9, so yeah. I mean, okay, interesting. Well, my suggestions really, I also don't really know what to do with the ship overall. As in, yeah, you might increase the shields, but no, it doesn't really get use out of a shield. Increase the hull. Again, it's supposed to be this super hull tank, right? So, okay, give it even more hull? No, that doesn't really work out either. So what do we do? And the only other thing that usually works is just give it a bit more speed. But even that won't really help. The thing is, it's an ill-conceived ship. It's even worse ill-conceived ship than the Alliance Piggies, all but the Chieftain, right? The Challenger and the Crusader. It's just has absolutely no use in any kind of way, no matter how far you boost the stats, which is really sad. Yeah, sure, it was until recently the only ship with four large hard points, allowing back in those early AX days to host four largest damaging weapons for the anti-Xeno. But I don't know what were developers thinking. Like, gee, I don't know. I mean, without some special things like adding, I don't know, corrosive resistant shields that are in game files, adding that as a special feature, maybe. But again, I'm more thinking about realistic, just simple stat changes. What could be done? And honestly, yeah, not Chief. This thing is non-savable without genuine game changes. So yeah. Hell, even back in the day, it was a very ill-conceived ship.
I would agree. Type 10 is, it's on my, not casual clunkers, but also.
Type 9, yeah, but this thing, no, like no. Also, interesting thing, interesting old, not old, but history factoid about it. When this thing came out, it had exactly the same internals as Type 9. So, technically, this would, at least back in those days, be a lot better option than Type 9. Sure, it had lesser jump range, but every other stat was better, making it a little bit more usable thing. However, in light of actually this thing kind of dethroning Type 9 into usability factor, developers added that one extra, I think it was size 8 optional compartment to Type 9. That's where the original ship balance kind of came from, and that was one of the very last ship balances that actually took place in the game. That was 2000, I think, 18? 2018, I think this thing came out. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think, we should keep it as it is. It has its own meme. It has its role, not in the meta, but in the meme space.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I absolutely love to hate that stupid spoiler. It goes beyond belief. A spaceship needs a spoiler.
You should buy an Arx Beluga Yamex. It comes with a lot of spoilers.
Paroxym, a fellow creator from back in the day, already gifted me a goddamn ship kit with double spoilers on it during a stream. I'm not fucking buying any microtransactions. If I want to support a game, I will buy its expansions. I will buy the game itself for a friend or someone. I'm not buying microtransactions, and neither should you. But it's your money. You do whatever you want, of course. But I highly recommend against it. You do not support the game by buying microtransactions. Just
and your first
hot take
your
of the day.
Your face was worth it $20. I stand by that.
Oh no!
Your face and reaction was yeah, worth it. Worth every penny.
God damn it! All right, moving then on.
What's the next ship?
To the original end game ship, the ship that would crown everything, the Anaconda. So. The original.
Anaconda, I have sweet memories of the Anaconda.
Yeah, the ship that was made as a tech demo for a lot of interesting ideas that never made into full production for the game. The original ship that was one of the first to be introduced as just even alpha version of the build of the game back in those 2013 days. Anaconda originally and to this day indeed sports this interesting ship module, not module, but ship model damage, essentially visual actual damaged parts, ripped metal and exploded parts. Essentially, as soon as you have hull damage, not only just the texture changes, but also the model itself gets warped metals everywhere and just basically on laminated panels and so on and so forth. It was back in the day the idea that, hey, one of these days we could introduce for every ship a damage model, a literal model's damage model, if you will. Something like, let's say, Star Citizen has. Ripped apart wings and so on and so forth. Not just a texture change. However, that's a lot of work, and developers ended up not using it. In fact, back in the day, in early videos, in fact, for Elite Dangerous, you can skim through those Kickstarter days. They actually showcase Anaconda with its undercarriage cargo bay basically being partially blown out as a sort of a presentation as to what could be made into. And for Anaconda, they still retain that look and that feature in it, and to this day that is the unique part about it. Additionally, Anaconda was sort of made also in a demo sense as a ship that would depend on where, or rather be damage dependent on the sides where it gets damaged. Essentially, the top side of Anaconda being, the smooth, really armored up part, while the underbelly being very soft. So originally, I assume developers also wanted to introduce the side or weak spot sort of dependent damage model, I guess. Also, there was a damage model for directional shields being discussed as an option, but developers ended up just going with the simplest possible look and as well as mechanics for the ships itself. But to this day, Anaconda remains that rather interesting timepiece and a tech demo, sort of more than anything else. However, when it comes to the ship itself, stat-wise, it is one of... I think it is even... No, I think the Clipper is still lighter, but among the big three ships, it is the lightest and by a big margin. And being able to...
Yeah, the hull of a chieftain.
Yep. It's extremely light, which basically makes it an extremely good jumping ship as well. Because, hey, big FSD makes for big jumps. As long as you keep it really light.
That had the record jump distance before the Mandalay came along, right?
Yep, back in the day, before the new microtransaction wave and before the new ships, the new age ships, if you will, Anaconda was the furthest jumping ship because of that fact, and it made sense. Additionally, Anaconda spouts the biggest damage per second, or at least used to, before the Type 10. No.
That's paper DPS.
Type
That's
10
paper
is a
DPS.
burst. Type 10 is a burst, while Anaconda is the sustained DPS, I think it was.
The type class 8 power distributor.
Yeah, basically, yeah, the biggest power distributor currently available in any ship with the most damaging hard points, or no, biggest hard points, essentially, allowing for that burst damage. However, Anaconda suffers from certain T's, like for example, a very low, especially these days, cargo hold. So no longer it even competes with baseline Type 9, or no, yeah, baseline Type 9. And the top speed as well as maneuverability are crap. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
Con is a
rundown of the
special
ship.
Well, the Con is a special ship. I mean, it has, for one, it holds a special place in the imagination of a lot of early game players. And I don't know when you started Yamix playing in beta, how you felt about it, but for me,
I
the
started
beginning
in
of the game,
2015 April, so it was a couple of months after the release of
yeah.
the game.
So, bro, and so I was a beta backer, so I was there since the beginning, but roughly the same period. Like when I in game used to see a player own Anaconda, I kind of used to sort of pause in awe and just look at it go by, and I was like, wow, this is like a player who quote made it, because it was such an iconic thing to own as a player that and honestly, I didn't know if I ever was going to be able to own one, considering like the amount of time I was playing versus I had available. So I was like, you know, in fact, it was many, many, many years before I ever owned an Anaconda. And I remember the first time I actually bought an Anaconda as like a moment of awe at the time,
Yeah, same
where I
for
was
me.
like,
Same for
wow,
me.
like.
I remember
So in
getting my
that sense,
first Anaconda after Robigo runs. In fact, back in the day it was trading, but that was when I got my first billion. I kitted this thing out and straight up went to Colonia, going place by place exploring, then to the center and then to the Beagle Point. Do not go to the Beagle Point, you're wasting your time. But go to the center, go to the Beagle Point, Colonia, sorry. And this was the ship that I chose to go with because of its jump range, and yeah, the time we had engineering as well. But yeah, this was the thing that where I got my money, got the ship kitted out, and did something different than just grinding credits. Once I had enough credits, I went on to actually explore and look at the game in a slightly different manner. So yeah, no, absolutely.
oh, wait, this Beluga fly is amazing. I've named it Yamik's favorite. I hope that's okay.
I mean, by all means, no, it's a really interesting ship. But my favorite definitely is Python, or at
No,
least.
just because it's bought with arcs. It's like the probably weirdest.
No, god damn it! No, these microtransactions. What the hell?
All right.
Just
No, I mean, look, back
sad.
to the
I'm
Conda.
sad
I know.
now.
Sorry, I'm an evil person. Uh, look, the Conda is a great ship. Not only is it incredibly light for a ship, but it has absolutely massive amount of firepower. A lot of commanders built shard Condas during the Fargoid War, which is they put 6 modified Guardian shard cannons onto Anacondas, and when they went around blasting Cyclops, which it does really well because it can kill Clops in a single volley, and then it gets killed by anything bigger than that because people don't know how to use it. But that's the nature and reality of it. So, like, among the more experienced crowd, shard condas aren't all that popular. I think my most viewed short on YouTube overall, which has like almost 150,000 views now, is a shard conda short where I get hyper addicted by 3 Cyclops, and in less than a minute they all become space dust. And so it's a very capable ship, but it's actually not that easy to use in combat because it's heavy and big, and like all ships that are heavy and big, they're hard to use in
Lightest
combat.
large ship, and yet it's heavy.
Yeah,
But yeah, no,
it
it
flies
turns really
heavy.
slowly. So
It
yeah.
flies heavy.
Yep, yep.
Yeah. But there's some things that the Conda is really, really good at. Like, for example, the Rail Conda, as we call it, which is an Anaconda with 6 medium plasma slug engineered long range rail guns, in my opinion, is the best PvE ship in the game. you can put premium ammo on it, and it never expires because premium ammo never runs out on on plasma slug weapons, which gives you basically
Right.
because I don't know, it's like 30% premium bonus that never expires. You pay once, you get it forever. Um, and basically you put 2 fuel tanks on that thing, which act as ammo, and you have infinite ammo of a sniper weapon that can destroy ships 6 kilometers away without them even being able to fire back at you. It can snipe power plants with bigger ships, destroying them with like 80% hull left. And it absolutely just deletes anything NPC wise better than any other ship in the game. So for me, I have 2 Anacondas. One is the Railconda, which I use for PvE and for very odd scenarios in AX. And then I have an AX version of a Conda, which instead is like high alpha damage, hits hard, uh, but doesn't move very much kind of ship. So, yeah, I mean, the Conda is iconic in that regard. But it's not certainly I win kind of button ship because it's so slow and it handles so poorly. It will get absolutely destroyed in PvP by pretty much anyone who knows what they're doing.
Um,
And again, it's kind of non-invulnerable.
Conda, yeah, like all the other, all the large ships with exception of one, in PvP are just supports for medium ships, essentially the damage brick, if you will. And in PvP, yeah, there is a very prolific build called the Microwave Conda, and boy oh boy. That one's an asshole build, I gotta say. It's pretty funny. Just heat sinking into somebody with plenty of beam lasers. There we go. It just goes. It goes. Back in Heat Metas time, just forget about it. But these days, no, it still works, sure. But yeah, it needs support because alone, yeah, the turn rate and overall speed for sure makes it, well, a support at most. So
Yeah, I mean the con is also famous or infamous, depending on who you ask, for talking about funny things. The so-called funny hull Anaconda, which exploits a bug in how resistances stack to become essentially invulnerable to station lasers, and it's a build that gankers use to destroy commanders inside stations while tanking station lasers for a pretty extended period of time. This is, by the way, story that precipitated the whole 72 billion credit bounty on Mechan's head that resulted in a lot of fun and shenanigans. But exposing that bug was what caused that whole story arc to begin. I don't have a funny how Anaconda, otherwise I'd be a bit of a hypocrite. But among gankers, it is still comparatively popular.
yeah, no, it still is usable because of its sheer damage output as well as sustainability in combat, if you will. Hence why it is used over the next one. But for now, I got to say yeah. Overall, Anaconda is one of those legendary ships. It still has so much interesting aspects of it, both as a ship tech demo, if you will, as well as just the sheer usability of it. In my mind, it still should be the furthest jumping ship because, hey, it is one of the most expensive ships in the game. It is the big, large thing that, when you're just starting out, you look at all the ships and you see the largest ones, so you think that, oh, well, hey, the larger ones have to be these amazing things, and Anaconda literally embodies that. So in my list of things, essentially, well, it has its clear negatives, as we talked about, and very, very, very clear positives. So my suggestion was to not change it. So, we
Yeah, let's
can?
keep it as it is. The
Yeah.
Conda is like, yeah, Conda has its place in the meta. It's definitely something that is a
Yeah,
good place.
fair enough.
I agree.
And remember, folks, you can find one free Anaconda in Hutton Orbital. It's always there for you to pick up. Moving then on. Well, we got we get the pinnacle of Federation after grinding the Federation ranks at nauseum, or basically just doing missions at nauseum until your legs, arms, and everything else falls off. The Federal Corvette.
Or just donating money at the free stations around Sol on repeat, which I think is the way people grind.
Yeah,
Federation
that's
ranks
easier,
nowadays.
faster. It's a lot better to just grind money and just do the donation missions. It's a lot easier and well, yeah, it's also faster. Yeah, even if you need to refresh the markets, but yeah, do donation missions. Just do donation missions. Take up the credit L. I think there's about 300 or so million. 300 million or so that you need to donate. But it's a lot easier than going and doing missions. Thank us later. So, Corvette! The coolest possible looking ship in my mind in the whole game. What do we think?
Well, first of all, I still think that this Beluga with a ship kit is the coolest looking ship in the game right now. But besides that, well, yeah, the Corvette looks good. We'll certainly agree to that. And second of all, the Corvette has a religious, devoted following among the community in Elite. So you and I are not allowed to say anything bad about the Corvette, otherwise our YouTube channel is gonna get shut down by.
No, I absolutely love it. Now the thing is, I mean, let's be frank here. Even if you hate Star Wars or what it is today, let's be frank here. Just Star Destroyer. You can play with the damn Star Destroyer.
It looks a little like a Star Destroyer. That's true. I mean, look, the Corvette, in my mind, I mean, it's an interesting one. Like, first of all, don't hate me if I speak my mind, but you know me, I speak my mind. The Corvette is a bit of a status symbol, to your point, because it is the pinnacle of like federal ships, and because it requires this just excruciating grind to acquire. So like, reality is there's a little bit of like Stockholm syndrome when you do get it, and that you work so hard for it that you kind of want to like it. And there are some things to like, as in, it's the only ship that has two huge hard points, and a power distributor sort of somewhat capable of powering them, which is the largest in the game, which is a Class 8. So if you look at the firepower on paper of a Corvette, it is impressive. If you look at the handling of a Corvette, compared to how large ships handle, it is impressive. But then when you look at its speed, it really is not impressive. And candidly, the reality is that in most real world things, the Corvette is just too slow to do much good. It's too slow to do much good in AX. It's too slow to do much good in most combat scenarios, even in PvE. It takes more time to actually reach your targets than to destroy them. It's too slow to do much in, forget PvP. Showing up in a Corvette in PvP is like basically declaring you are inexperienced at PvP in most cases rather than not. I guess, you know, you probably would use it for mining since you love those ships, I guess, for mining.
Well,
you probably would
anything
use
can be used for mining to a certain degree, I suppose.
With a Class 8 power distributor, you know, the funny thing is it'll actually be a pretty good miner.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
So I have one designed for PvE, but I don't use it. The Anaconda is a better ship for PvE than any Corvette in any configuration. I mean, I'm trying to think about like a scenario where we would take a Corvette. I haven't, you know, now that I think about it, I haven't taken my Corvette out of a hangar in months. I just haven't found a reason to do it.
Yeah, so, same.
Yeah, so I mean, is it a bad ship? By all means, no. But is it the best ship at something? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know that the Corvette is the best at anything. That's the sad thing about it. It's good at many things, but sort of not as good as other ships are at just about any one particular thing. So, like, it's like tricky in that regard.
Yeah, with a Corvette, it's interesting. It looks cool. It turns probably the best out of the big, no, not probably, but definitely out of the big three. Hell, it even sort of tries to compete with the Cutter to a certain, not Cutter, but Clipper to a certain degree, right? But yeah, the thing that really lets it down is not its shield, is not its hull, it's not its weapons or the power distributor, it is the speed. The speed makes it utterly unusable. Unlike with Anaconda, right, which is quite a bit cheaper, and you don't need to unlock it, well, you are losing a little bit of damage, but mostly, even to that, the speed really does suck, and it I think there was this term, noob trap, and certainly the Federal Corvette is a very big PvP noob trap. You think that, with your big Corvette, you can, in PvP, PvE, you're shrekking everything, and then you jump in and realize, oh no, the average PvP speed is about 500 meters a second. Oh no, what am I gonna do now with my 200 to 300 meters a second brick? Yeah. I had a person like that once interdict me and call me a rat for it. How's the ship working out for you now, huh? But no, seriously speaking, Corvette, yeah.
Now I wonder if I can make a PvP version of this Arc's Beluga, by the way. That would be really interesting.
Like, well, you have no rebuy, so...
So there's that.
Pay to win bullshit. Anyways, right. So Federal Corvette. In my list of things that it needed, really, like we previously mentioned, it lacks speed. And yeah, that's what it requires in order to be even just a little bit more usable than, let's say, Anaconda, and to even start to try and compete with the Cutter. We'll talk about the Cutter next, but for now, I would say the Federal Corvette really does need a little bit more speed. It's just not that much, but something to make it a bit more usable for that combat, because his jump range is garbage. Its cargo transportation is garbage. Weirdly, though, its passenger transportation actually kinda is competitive. But let's be frank.
All right, we're added to a list of builds. So we got the minor Type 7 and we got the passenger transport Corvette.
Hold on, let me look it up real quick because I remember the stat for.
All right, so guys, if you want the building for this amazing passenger transport Corvette, stay tuned. We're gonna pin it into the comments below. Like, don't miss it. So don't miss it. Like, you're missing out.
Oh, right. Yeah. Federal Corvette is the ship with the largest passenger space of all ships. There you go. Well, the next biggest ship is Cutter, then Anaconda. Panther Clipper doesn't even have as many passenger seats as this.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure.
There you go. That's the interesting thing about
right, so now
Corvette.
We got the Combat Dolphin,
It's a passenger ship.
Explorer Type 6, the minor Type 7, and the passenger transport Corvette, guys.
Welcome to Federal Navy, baby.
Like, we are almost approaching pre-built ARC ship quality level in the store with our build. Yeah,
Jesus
almost.
Christ.
We're not quite that bad, but we're getting there. But yeah, I agree. I mean, people often ask me, like, if they ever were to make a Corvette Mark II, what do you think it would look like? And my answer to that question is 4 huge hard points, 50 meters per second boosted top speed.
What's the top speed?
50 meters per second boosted top speed.
50?
Yes, that is my vision for the Corvette Mark II. Basically destroys everything but can't move. It's like a state. It's like you're like piloting a station.
I see. Okay. Well, I mean, in that case, I mean, pay to win store. Let's open up the capital class ships for the use, right? I mean, there you go.
That'd be nice.
I mean, this is the thing. That's why Corvette is so cool.
Pilot, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Or a Majestic.
Jesus
Poor Corvette. Join me. Do you want to join in multi-crew? Do you want to join my my Arx Beluga. I mean, I'm
No, no, I'm not
Are you in
selling
game? Let me see if I
myself
can
to
invite.
the
Are you in
to
game? I
the
want to invite you.
microtransaction
You're in
nonsense.
solo,
Hell
man.
no.
I would totally have invited you to be multi-crew
Oh no,
in
using
my
the
damage
worst
trailer.
ship for the worst fucking feature in the game for the worst microtransaction in the game. Oh
Oh
god,
man.
no, no, no. I'd much rather go chuck bleach, man. Jesus Christ.
All right. So
Alright.
yeah, so that's the vet. What we got after the vet? All right.
What do you think? Two ships left and one of them is phallic. The
Well,
phallic
that's
one.
definitely the cutter. Right? We
Yeah,
got
the
cutter and
cutter.
Panther left. Right.
The
Okay, let's do
Imperial
more.
Cutter, the majestic wank tank, as I call it. Oh boy,
Cutter.
there's a lot to be said. So before Anaconda came in online, essentially, after Anaconda came online, a few months after the release of the game, the developers released Power Play, and I don't remember exactly when they introduced Cutter as well as Corvette as part of the Federation and Imperial Navy rank top dogs, but it was around that same time, so 2015, give or take. And with these three ships together, they made the so-called the big three of the game.
Big three.
Each one playing off each other's pros and cons. Yet one of them really stood out among the other two. Even though Anaconda could jump really far away and would have the most damage and even sustained, well, Corvettes, well, it looked cool and it kind of moved, or rotated quickly. Well, Cutter pretty much got everything else. Cargo space, the overall shields, it got well, generally speaking, pretty decent jump range as well, so middle of the ground stuff, and it became just the most usable of the big three. However, in order to get it, well, boy oh boy, you needed to grind a lot. And so, that was Cutter. Oh, also, of course, the speed. How could we forget the top speed, which was for such a big ship, such a heavy ship, insanely high, making it, even to this day, actually soloable in PvP. Not particularly well, but it is doable. You still can kind of keep up with the medium ships with 500 plus meters a second, right? It's, let's see, the top line speed in PvP, I think you can get around 400 something meters a second on boost.
The cutter?
Yeah,
Cutter boosted past 500, but I might be misremembering.
If you strip it, yes. If you strip it, yes, but with a combat build, I think it could do 400 something. But it wasn't basically as slow. It was faster than the poor gunship for sure. And the poor gunship was under 400, or with the boost slightly. No, it was close to 400, something like that. Either which case, that is the reason why Cutter really could do, or rather, became the favorite for basically everyone, both the gankers, the PvE players, as well as just the casual daily drivers, if you will. It had everything: space, speed, weapons, and the shields and all the other protections along with it. It had everything, except for, great big jump range that Anaconda had, or maneuverability that the Corvette had. That's it. That's the only concession you really had to make with the Cutter. So, what do you think?
And the fact that it drifts like you're on ice skates.
You have shields, you can ram anything, you don't care.
Yeah, that's the thing. You can certainly ram things, but it's Tokyo Drift plus, except it's Tokyo Drift without the ability to actually turn your car, essentially. So it's a lot of drifting. I mean, the Cutter is certainly the more. I mean, I think you said it really well. It's definitely the more mainstream of the large ships, and definitely the more mainstream of the big three. It's got amazing shields, which is why, to your point, it's also used in PvP, although more as a cope build, as people kind of refer to it.
Oh yeah,
rather than as a serious competitive build. But it does work as a cope build, as in, honestly, like in 1 versus 1, if you face up on a properly built cutter in PvP and the cutter doesn't want to be killed, it's not going to get killed. You're not
It
going
has
to
the
kill.
speed and the shields
Right.
to protect itself and run away. So, like,
And the mass lock factor is the largest, except for a Panther or whatever. No, a Panther. Anyway, it's got like
yeah, I
You're not
think so.
you're not gonna kill a cope cutter like unless the cope cutter either is completely inexperienced or wants to be killed. So and that is one of the things that has made it kind of also very unpopular in PvP because people have been using it to kind of be annoying. Yeah, it's not a popular ship for that reason. But it does work in that sort of PvP setting as well. And it used to be the best hauler in the game together with Type 9. Again, there's different
Yep,
camps. Some
4
say
more
Type 9 is
tons
better than
over the
this, right?
Type 9. Just 4 more.
Uh,
That may also a better jump
and a
range,
lot
so yeah.
faster. Like the normal
Oh
space
yeah.
docking
A lot
speed of a
faster, bigger
cutter
jump
is like
range,
almost
but
twice as fast. Like
about
so,
twice as expensive,
uh,
so.
yeah, more expensive, but better hauler. It used to be. I mean, the cutter used to be before the Panther Clipper came around and before the Type 11 came around. The Panther for me was a few things. It was a cope PvP build, which was kind of annoying and not all that interesting, but it was there. It was the best miner, the best large heavy miner in the game. This one for real, like not
I
the
mean, yeah,
Yamix
the
version
jump
of the
range
miners.
does help it,
Um,
sure.
so I got my carrier by mining the famous egg in low
Ah.
temperature diamonds in a cutter. So it used to be a fantastic miner, and it used to be the best hauler in the game, and it was a decent combat ship. In anti-xeno combat, it also had a role. It was not commonly used because large shields are difficult to use and shielded ships are not commonly used. But for speed running in particular, among large ship classes, it had a role at some point in time. If nothing else, because it's also very good at ramming things, considering how heavy and fast it is.
Especially the
So
speed. Especially the speed is
yeah,
the thing that maximizes it for sure.
and for rams, you got to put two things together. You got to put speed and mass. You put those two things together, you got a good rammer.
And hope that
So
RNGesus actually calculates things correctly. But regardless, that's a whole different topic.
yeah, in solo, it's not much of an issue. I think it's more of an issue during kind of network play with kind of other people. But like, um, So, I mean, yeah, I mean, look, is it worth a grind? That's a personal question. It may not be. It
Ugh.
used to be, I would argue, worth a grind when it was the best of those things. Now that you have a Type 11 for mining, the Panther for hauling,
And
I
Panther
don't
is
know.
unlocked immediately without any Navy requirements, right? Yeah.
It doesn't look as
Or you
good
can
as
swipe your credit card as well.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it doesn't look as good as Yamik's favorite arc spade, the Beluga that we have here on screen, but I mean, it's still, pretty interesting.
This is also a really phallic ship, only superseded by Orca in the phallic sense. So
Okay.
there you go.
Not
Hey,
with all the spoilers. Like it's
well,
got really spoilery. Anyway, um, now we're degenerating into Yamik's level of talk. But yeah, so the color. Look, I haven't used it much since the Panther has come out, to be honest, because I've used the Panther with the CG racks. By the way, it's even better as my primary hauler. I might convert it to a combat ship. Because even as a miner, the Type 11 is just such a better laser miner than anything else in the game right now. So, yeah,
well, the power
the
distributor,
cutter
though it is lowest of the big three, it still is formidable.
only a class 7. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree.
It's the same power distributor as I think it was Python as well.
You know what the cutter has that is interesting and
Yep,
good
Python as
is
well.
the cutter has those 3 medium hard points on the nose, which have really good convergence. Now, one of the things we didn't talk about much about large ships is they tend to have really terrible, awful convergence. Even the vet has really poor convergence, which is why in an antique Xeno
Yeah,
setting,
having
even though you have a
multiple
quite
weapons underneath is a problem. Though Corvette is more streamlined, both top and bottom, so it's more predictable, but it's still pretty annoying. Yeah, fair
yeah.
enough.
The cutter has those 3 mediums on the nose, which actually have really good convergence, and it's the only large ship I want to say that has decent weapon convergence, or at least some subset of meaningful hardpoints. Which, if you're firing fixed weapons like Gauss cannons or the like, actually matters a lot. Even laser mining, kind of having those 3 medium lasers on the nose makes for very
Well, for
predictable
laser
fragment
mining, you
generation.
don't really need weapon conversions now, do you?
It's not essential, but it does make fragment generation more predictable. And if you're kind of like mining a little bit more sort
Yeah,
of
fair enough, fair enough.
carefully, you can actually collect things more predictably and reliably because they just spawn all bunched together. Anyway, I think that's Imperial Cutter for us.
So, what do we do with the ship? Do we change it? Remain it the same? What
That's
do we
such a
think?
difficult question. I mean, the question is always, what kind of role do you want to give it, right? Because the Panther has taken the role of the default hauler, and as a result, I don't think you necessarily want to convert the Cutter into a competing hauler. I mean, you
Well, like
could, but
Corvette, both of them are Navy ships.
yeah, they're civilianized versions of Navy ships. But yes, what do you do with a Cutter? I mean, it still has a Class 7 power distributor. If you upgrade it to power Class 8, honestly, I don't think it would make a big difference for that ship. So I don't think that would be a thing.
Well, that would definitely increase its usability, that's for sure, in combat and
Hmm.
make it even more powerful.
Yeah, 1 second. I have someone knocking on my door. Give me one
Well, I'll
sec.
then fill the time then. So yeah, when it comes to Imperial Cutter, my original suggestion, because of its exceptionally good, um, because of its
I was saying
exceptionally good speed, well, guess what?
four. Yes. 1 second.
Okie dokie. Right. In the meantime, so cutter speed is the big linchpin for why it's usable in PvP and a few other. Well, you could say AX as well to a certain degree, but generally speaking, the PvP is the biggest one. So the speed is certainly exceptional compared to Anaconda and Corvette. Like I said previously, with Anaconda, well, it doesn't really need changing. It should remain as it is. Corvette, on the other hand, should get more speed to make it a bit more usable. However, Imperial Cutter, on the other hand, well, even though technically speed is the part that is compensated because its weapons are lower and power distributor is lower, well, the speed is a bit too much. So dropping a little bit of speed would make it in line with the Corvette, make it a bit more competitive. So I would say, yeah, speed for Corvette for Cutter should change a little bit on the downturn to make it a bit more competitive with Corvette, at least.
You're slowing down the Cutter, so you're making it even
Yes,
less
that's my
meaningful to
suggestion.
kinda
That was
like.
my suggestion. Yes.
I don't know. I think the vet needs something more to give it another spot in the medium.
Well, Corvette up,
Like
Cutter down. So
Corvette up, Cutter down. But even then,
make them a bit
I
more
don't
in
know.
line, right? Cutter still should be faster and still should have that big ass shield, but lower hull than Corvette. Corvette, on the other hand, would compensate with about similar shield, but slightly lower, higher hull, more damage, more weapons, but that comes at the cost of the speed, and that would make a bit more fairer fight, if you will.
I
Well,
need
at
to
least
think
that's my
about this
take.
one. I think that there's. I mean, certainly right now like both the Corvette and the Cutter could use some love. I think we agree on that. Um, in what
Or
direction
some other
though?
ships need some bashing.
Or yeah, you could do that too. I mean, if the vet was faster, it would be a more meaningful ship. I agree with that. But, just making the cutter slower doesn't do much to give it a role and make it meaningful. In fact, it makes it even less meaningful in a situation where most other ships already have better place in the meta than the cutter currently does. So I need to think about like what could we do to the cutter that would kind of make it meaningful again. Um, and I think you'd need to get creative to a degree because right now, I mean,
Well, okay, fair enough. My overall arching suggestion was obviously to change the game mechanics when it comes to hulls and shields.
mm,
Those big two changes would definitely bring in something interesting. But in lieu of those big changes, recoding that basically the shield boosters wouldn't be multiplicative. They would be additive rather instead, like the Guardian shield reinforcements, whatever. At that point, you know, you drop the shield overall capacity and increase the importance of the hull. Immediately, the game becomes a little bit more interesting and less, well, quite literally tanky, right? It wouldn't be such a bullet sponge, and immediately you would be at least thinking a bit more about the hull underneath. And you definitely knew that it would still go down, but, you know, the bigger ship, bigger hull, bigger shield would make something interesting. I don't know. Again,
you know what I
hull
think?
tanking requires
yeah.
work, and shields also need changing. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we need to get a little creative, but I think if you get more creative around more of the weapons and actual modules, you could find a way to give the cutter a role. Because honestly, I think the role of the cutter as like the fast combat large is a good one in terms of like
Yeah,
design
no,
standpoint.
absolutely, I agree.
But you need you need to give it weapons that take advantage of that. Like give you an example, torpedoes right now suck.
Oh
Like,
God,
they
don't
just
even.
suck
Yep, yep,
incredibly poorly.
yep.
If you buff torpedoes, you gave them more ammo, and you made them, like, not suck in terms of their velocity and make
Make
them
them
essentially
maybe
useless.
stealthy on top
Yeah, I mean,
somehow.
exactly. Like, if you buff torpedoes, I could see the cutter becoming, like, a torpedo bomber, like a large torpedo bomber kinda ship, and that would be an interesting role for a ship like a cutter, in that it's not kinda mainstream, mainline, sort of like brawler like the Corvette could be, or like the Type 10 could be, but it's fast and it could kinda get torpedoes on target in ways that other ships could not. I think that kind of design could be interesting, but I haven't thought it fully through, to be honest.
Well, what you can introduce to one ship, you can introduce to other ones. So yeah, you got to be careful about those particular changes. So yeah, I
I
mean
agree.
that's an option, anyways, right? There's multiple ways to change things and improve them. Obviously, my first initial idea was to just a simple, small stat change to at least bring it more in line. But yeah, again, my bigger grievance with the hull tanking and the hull mechanics as well as the shields and shield mechanics, if those could be, you know, taken care of and properly made, yeah, the game would definitely benefit overall. But that requires quite a lot more work, and so does even something like changes to generally how torpedoes are made, well, how they work overall. So, well, we can only hope. Maybe, yeah. Well, good luck with that, I suppose. But yeah. Well,
Yeah,
anyways,
as I
yeah,
said, getting really creative here.
yeah. So, all that's left right now, outside of a few smaller ships that probably will catch on as well, the last large ship, the one that just recently released for everyone to finally grope, grab, and touch with your dirty fingers and put jam all over the place. The Panther Clipper. What do we think about this?
Well, it's the only ship that can kill a Hydra while carrying 1,000 tons of cargo, so it's a good egg in my book. Which is clearly what's being designed for, right? What else could it be designed
Oh,
for?
of course, of course,
Yeah.
of course. So, well, currently the ship is right. So overall, the stats about the Panther Clipper, right? So it has one of the lowest maneuverabilities, and we'll talk about that. It has one of the, well, no, not the lowest jump ranges. I need to check what was the maximum jump range of it, but it was in the bottom 1/3 of the ships. Let's see. Yeah. Shield wise, it is more than Type 9. It is a larger ship, so there's that. 6 utility slots, unlike the Imperial Cutter, Corvette, Anaconda, or even the Type 10, which has 8 utilities, I think. Yep. 8 utilities. So, just like Beluga Liner, the Panther Clipper spouts 2 less utility slots, meaning that the shields are relatively low. However, because it is a large-ass ship overall, right, well, it has a lot of hull as well. Not to beat Type 10, it doesn't. Even with the internals spec'd out, it doesn't beat Type 10. Type 10 is still the biggest hull tank in the game, though not the hardest one, which Anaconda is, but regardless. Let's see, what else Panther Clipper had? Of course, the biggest cargo space in the whole game by 60%, beating the next competitor, which is Imperial Cutter. 60% more cargo than any other ship in the game, reaching 1,238 tons normally, with the modules that you can get through random events. Good luck getting that, no longer. You can boost it up to, what was it, 1,200?
No, 300. You got to do
300?
1,304.
Jesus Christ.
1,304.
I thought it was 94, but okay, cool. Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, regardless, it's still 60%, whatever, right? So yeah, that's the general gist of the ship itself. Any thoughts about it, Mr.
Well,
I don't trade?
I killed a Hydra with it while carrying 1,000 tons of meta alloys, which is something I wanted to do for a while, and no other
For the
ship can carry
bragging
one.
rights, I take it.
Well, absolutely bragging rights. But I mean, the point is, like, this is a ship that even laden down can hold its own in combat against even the toughest NPCs in the game.
Oh, right.
That's kind of
10 hard points.
Like,
the most of any ship in the game as well. 10.
Like, only 4 which you can really use, but whatever. Like,
yeah, well,
conversions on these weapons is awful. Yeah, I mean, look, as an AX ship, obviously it's terrible. Like, I would not recommend.
It's not made for AX. That's kind of the thing.
It's not made for AX.
I mean, you can use Sidewinder for AX. Doesn't mean that it's a good one for it. But I mean, fair enough. No, it's good to have some different perspective. Right. Absolutely. So yeah, no, it's really interesting to hear this.
Yeah, I mean, look, as far as like a combat ship is concerned, like the 4 mediums up top have absolutely awful convergence, so they should be used for weapons which don't need convergence. I use them for flak cannons, and it absolutely deleted Fargon swarms with 4 flak cannons that spaced out, which was actually quite a bit of fun. That's what earned the moniker of the ship that I used. I called it Swarmbane, because no other ship ever has deleted an entire Hydra swarm of Fargoins of 128 Fargons in one shot. That's the only ship that's ever managed to pull that off. So that was remarkable. Other than that, it flies with 2 medium and 2 small Guardian Gauss cannons in a Gauss configuration, because the convergence is otherwise terrible. But the hard points at the bottom of the ship, like the 2 large and the 2 smalls down below on its belly, have acceptably decent, if not actually reasonably good convergence. So it can fight that way. But yeah, it made me sweat. That fight took even me. It required that even I did focus for quite a while to actually make it work. So yeah, not quite the combat ship, but obviously the best hull in the game by a mile and hands down. Plus, honestly, it looks like a big chieftain. So as an AX commander, what's not to like?
Well, certainly developers have watched a lot of alien movies, because Prometheus ship is the first thing that comes to mind immediately, especially because of that back leg coming down, though the ship looks like a fucking frog. So sadly, today is not Wednesday, Dudes, but there you go. It looks like a frog. Inside, it looks like Nostromo. And it's one in the upcoming review that I literally finished rendering during this stream. You probably heard the little Windows bing. That was the video finishing, by the way. But yeah, the inside in the review, I mentioned that the inside of the ship looks like Nostromo, and it's one of the ships that make you wish there would be actual ship interiors. But yeah, oh well.
I mean, this is one of those things, yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, I understand that there's a lot of talk about wanting ship interiors, But have you played No Man's Sky, the latest Corvette release that actually has ship interiors, or no?
Yes, yes.
What do you think about ship interiors in No Man's Sky?
Right. When they first released, which update that was, I don't remember the name. But yeah, the Breach expedition I kind of missed out, but they slightly expanded upon the whole stuff. But yeah, when the No Man's Sky released the ship interiors as well as the Corvette and the ship building itself in of itself, there really wasn't much to do inside. It was growing plants, making food, refiner. Uh, one more thing that I don't remember.
Storage is the biggest use. You're
Storage.
bringing all the storage with you wherever you go. That's really the biggest use case.
And then maybe something else.
It was like
Basically, there weren't a
bed
lot of
and
things
like
you could do inside. Voyager update, thank you. So yeah, it was. There really wasn't a lot to do inside, though you could build, relatively speaking, interesting shapes. Again, Starfield still has better shipbuilding for now, and that for now is a very important qualifier. So I get, McCann, you're trying to say, well, there weren't probably there weren't a lot to do with those ship interiors, so ship interiors are worthless.
Well, I mean, worthless is a huge word, but to your point, look, what do I care about in games? I care about gameplay loops first and foremost. I care about like having fun, either through those gameplay loops or by having sandbox elements around those gameplay loops that allow us to get creative and do silly things like, you know, buying a beluga with arcs and naming it Yamik's favorite. Like those.
No, no, do not under no. Do not equate gameplay loops with swiping your credit card. Credit card gameplay is for idiots. Okay? No, bad. Carry on.
So, but yeah, I will invite you in multi-crew next time I see you in open or some PG.
God.
But anyway, yeah, so I care about, again, gameplay loops or sandbox that allow for players to create their own kind of version of storytelling. Ship interiors, in my mind, doesn't really accomplish any of that because, I mean, if you were playing, Star Trek Bridge Crew, where a space-to-space battle takes half an hour, right? By the time you sight a ship on sensors, and even just firing photon torpedoes takes 30 seconds to kind of issue the order and eventually do it. So if you had a ship that flied that slow, I don't know again how way back you go, Yamix, but I don't know if you remember Battle Cruiser 3000 AD, right? Or iWar, some of those really
yeah, it's
old
one of the
school
games I
that,
haven't
like,
yet checked out, but the plan is to at some point
super
check
old.
that. Yeah.
Super
Yeah,
old.
I want to
Anyway,
check out old games as well to get a bigger field of view for the genre itself. I mean, hell, there's an old game like Parkan that has ship interiors as well. Really old Russian game. Anyways, carry on.
So anyway, look, there's a in order for ship interiors to provide meaningful gameplay loops, ship combats needs to be very slow. Otherwise, it doesn't work. It doesn't work if you kind of destroy a ship in like less than 30 seconds. It's not meaningful for you to go get up and repair whatever faulty system that you need to repair because it was just damaged by whatever thing that happened. The
Mm-hmm.
ship combat in Elite is too fast for ship interiors
Average
to
is
be meaningful.
550 meters a second for medium ships, and for large ones it's about 400 something. And yep.
So, I mean, the overall dynamic doesn't lend itself to using ship interiors in a way that is combat meaningful. Um, Multi-crew, by the way, is fundamentally broken and is beyond hope at this point. So, if that is broken, I can't really envision creating some kind of ship interior mechanism that is not broken. So it's in my mind, of all the things that Elite could do to become better, ship interior is just. And I know people are gonna hate me, and again, I'm gonna just get like flooded with bio waste because I'm saying this, but I'll say it anyway. I honestly feel like ship interiors are not that kind of big of a deal in Elite Dangerous. Right? I just don't. I would have 17 other things before I would have ship interiors. But I do know some people feel very strongly about it, so I respect that there's other opinions out there.
And you saying there's very little meaning to it. In my eyes, I hear, or fuck, in my ears, I hear the lack of imagination. Yes, I'm calling you out there. But no, seriously though.
Maybe.
But the thing is, right? Ship interiors. It's an interesting topic overall because. People saying, "Hey," the side saying that doesn't want the ship interiors. Hey, well, what the hell is it gonna be? Just visuals? That's it. Not much gameplay, or even if there is gameplay, it's not gonna be great. McCann actually mentioned quite good points as to why that could be a case. Because let's be frank here, Frontier can't code certain things to save their lives, like multi-crew, and that would lead to pretty poor experience overall, or lackluster experience, like the whole Odyssey, if you will. So there is a precedent to not wanting that amount of effort being developer effort going into developing such a feature, and rather focusing on just getting the rest of the gameplay at least ship shape, if you will. On the other hand, you have someone like me who champions the ship interiors as part of the FPS experience as well. Yes, to this day, I still think, and I will fight for it, that the FPS component of Elite Dangerous was the logical next step for the game and its environment, for the future of the game and its overall experience to have. Problem was in the execution, absolutely. When it comes to ship interiors overall, there are plenty of examples of that sort of a feature completely succeeding. And let's not go with the cheap shot right now. You know the one that I'm referring to. Instead, let's take smaller, simpler games. Void Crew, which, yes, the ship combat is about 100 meters a second. Yep, and Jump Ship. Two games that literally are all about you and your crew crewing the ship and doing combat and all the other kinds of both EVA as well as the internal ship fixing, gunning, manning, everything kind of a gameplay. There's even outside of this genre, there is the pirate game Sea of Thieves, as well as Guns of Icarus, that are sort of examples that it really can be fun, and it can be excessively fun to have that part of the crew experience, if you will. So yeah, with a good, not even great execution, having a working and fundamentally interesting gameplay loops in different manners have been proven to work, even as a solitary game features. Again, yeah, Jump Ship or Jump Space, as well as Void Crew being the prime examples that idea of simply manning that one spaceship and going through places is already enough to, well, turn the whole game around, if you will. Then, of course, let's go for the cheap shot then. Star Citizen! Yeah! That one is a perfect example that, as shit everything about it is, it just showcases that even in a very poor execution, that idea of doing all manner of things inside the ship, even if it means just walking through it, is a big draw and a big part of that experience that, in fact, Elite Dangerous, in many instances, actually wins over Star Citizen, just because Elite is a finished game and everything works about it. So yeah, I would say we should still aim for ship interiors, because execution notwithstanding, it's still a right direction and shouldn't have been excluded from Odyssey. But that's my take, of course. The reality is different.
Here's the thing, yeah, Mix, is other things being equal, would ship interiors better than no ship interiors? Yes, I agree. But if a trade-off is, hey, you can get ship interiors, or you can get, like, on foot Fargoid war, I mean, which one would you take? I would take the
We got
underpowered war any
neither
day.
one, but
Like,
fundamentally,
or neither.
yeah,
Neither is
no,
probably the more realistic
it's
choice here.
it's an interesting
But like,
straw man. It's a
right,
really interesting
right.
straw man. Absolutely, the false dichotomy, whatever. Right, either that or that. Right, and here's the thing, and you're right in that sort of a sense that Elite Dangerous or Frontier Developments with Odyssey already went with what would be the gameplay portions over what would be the immersion experience driving features. Developers chose primarily to, hell, not even focus much on exploration or trading on foot. They completely forgot about trading on foot or mining and went straight with combat, because combat is the thing that immediately is the easiest, maybe not the easiest to make, but generally speaking, just the easiest to immediately grasp and be that gameplay cycle that would be the best, sort of, in that sort of a sense. Then, I don't know why they went with exploration, but exploration is relatively simple to code in, so technically it was easiest to sort of put in rather than the box missions like against Star Citizen. So yeah, in that sort of a sense, what would bring the most quality gameplay? Yeah, no, Targoid War on foot certainly would bring a lot more overall gameplay, but it would still lack in the experience portion. And depends on how it would be made and so on and so forth, but there you go. No, yeah, I agree. Definitely the focus would be on the gameplay portion, at least for the Frontier developments, rather than the overall experience that the CIG is going after. So,
Hey, look, I judge by my experience. I played No Man's Sky again for quite a bit, for several weeks actually, after not playing it for like 5 years. I got ship interiors, EVA, shipbuilding. I played it for 2 weeks. It was cool, and that was it. And here I am back in Elite, right? So, you know, if gameplay loops just aren't that deep, they're not gonna hold people interest for a long time. So adding ship interiors for the sake of adding ship interiors, I don't know. It just checks a box. I don't know. I don't think it's particularly meaningful. You need to actually create something that is meaningful to go with it. And I mean, you are arguing there's a false dichotomy, but
no,
I
no,
would argue there's a real
as in
dichotomy there. It's
as
like,
in the
it's
idea either
It's
or,
like
because there are
yeah, I
more
mean,
options than just two. But as
oh
an
yeah, there's more
example,
than
yeah,
two, but it's not like you can get everything. Or rather, you
yeah.
can get everything. Everything sucks, right? If you want everything, then everything is gonna suck. I'd rather have not everything and having not suck. Whoa.
You okay?
No, I kind of bonked my dolphin
Ah,
after glide skipping
okay,
into a round.
fair enough.
Um,
But yeah,
if only I had Yamik's favorite Beluga, I would have been so fine after all this.
But thing is, right? So you do mention the idea behind tangible gameplay, or sorry, I forgot the name or term you were using for functional gameplay portions, essentially. That is underestimating actual experience portion, just the cosmetical wow factor of the visuals, because the thing is, right, it's really hard to quantify how much value a game gains by getting better graphics. Generally speaking, it's really hard to gauge that. If you see gameplay, well, you can say, well, okay, in the old game we have the 10 weapons. Now in the new game we have 20 weapons. Well, that's immediately an easy thing to sort of quantify in actual numbers. But when it comes to experience, that feeling of wow, or just the graphical take, or even experience just passing through different UI elements, or seeing something in a different color, light, what else, that is something that is really, really, really hard to gauge. And yet, Elite Dangerous, outside again of Star Citizen, is not even including Star Citizen, is one of the best immersive titles. And there's the whole joke that I tend to propagate, that immersion, right? But it's a real thing, right? And it should not be underestimated. Just that cosmetic feeling really shouldn't be underestimated, because even if you want to be cynical, that is why microtransactions sell, because guess what? Cosmetics literally sell. Cosmetics have an effect, positive
We just
and
bought a
negative.
beluga
Oh god.
on this stream to kind of make the point, right?
There you go. Even that, right? Even that cosmetical change or feeling does have an impact on why you would continue playing a certain game or return to it, or hell, even just simply, even if you don't return, have a positive look back once you're done playing. And that's the thing. That's kind of where, sadly, you can't quantifiably show that ship interiors would be such an important thing, and yet I feel that it is a missing transitory period, literally, to you taking on the space legs, getting out of this spaceship seat and actually walking through the ship and experiencing its girth, its width, its internals, its spirit in a way, if you will, and seeing every time going through the ship, feeling it. And contrary to that old infamous quote from Arthur, yeah, there would be actually a gameplay reason to run through the ship or picking larger or smaller ship, because you would have to go through it, and that would have a direct impact not only in just how much space it takes on the planet, but also how long it actually takes to get on the seat, if you will, to run away, or, for example, do other things, right? So yeah, it's one of those hard to quantifiable things, but I believe that would be just as important as a functional part of gameplay, if not more sometimes. Depends on, again, execution of features and so on and so forth. Plus, it would have potential for actual gameplay, you know, ability to fix stuff inside or doing other things.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing where I think we have respectable, reasonable, but different opinions. Yeah, Mix. I prefer Dwarf Fortress over Star whatever.
Hey, I will prefer Star Sector over any of these space games. Like, goddammit, that game is just
it's really amazing.
Flawless.
Super underrated. I completely agree.
So yeah.
No, I mean, look, it's
right, we kind of moved away from Panther Clipper itself. Right, so what is wrong with it? What is good about it? Do we change anything about it?
I would give it 10 times the cargo, so we have to haul 10 times less in colonization, but that's just about it.
Okay, well,
I would give it the cargo. I would give it the Cargo Rack Mark 6 and give the Cargo Rack Mark 6 like 6 times the cargo, so we don't have to haul that much in colonization instead of having to pay to skip for like Dodex stations or whatever, which is not a good way to go about it. But that aside, I mean, the Panther is in a fine place. I mean, it's got.
Oh, really? Is it now? Oh.
I think so, yeah.
Curious to say that. Oh, I do have plenty of other things. In fact, I can prove it with actual numbers. Yes, it's time to look at some spreadsheets. Well, it will be if McCann doesn't realize it real quick. Because, oh boy, I must school you, son. Okay, so, Panther Clipper, right. So I did kind of skirt away those, or rather, go around those stats and didn't mention an important thing. So Panther Clipper, here it has more jump range than a cargo build, equally made, you know, for cargo builds, maximum jump range, maximum cargo space, than a Type 9. Panther Clipper has more jump range than a Type 9. And it has exactly the same maneuverability, yet far, far faster top speed. And again, once you're hauling stuff, you're not using boost and so on and so forth. You're maximizing the jump range as well as the cargo space. So
using boost,
but generally speaking, even without even max speeds are faster with Panther Clipper. A ship that is thrice, if not more, heavier than Type 9 can jump further, move faster, be just as maneuverable, and house so much more cargo. Like, excuse me, it has no problem. It's in a good place? No, I completely reject that notion. And also the hull is,
Nerf
you
it
know,
if
large.
you want, but then you gotta haul even more for colonization. What they really need to do is kind of lower the colonization requirement. But now that they're having pay
Remind
to
me,
skip, they're not gonna
McCann.
do so.
Cool. Remind me, McCann. Who, who was the person or group that made colonization?
Make colonization?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like from the
Who
development
made?
guys?
Yeah, Frontier made colonization, right? And who decided the colonization required that much stuff to be delivered?
Oh yeah, of course. They have the
Yeah,
ones
it
who
was
designed it,
Frontier,
and now they're the
right?
ones like, kind of
So,
letting people
so
pay to skip.
yeah,
I know. I feel
probably
like
we
of all
should
the
talk
whole
about the
thing, it's like,
colonization being a massive slog rather than a ship being in a good place because it's overpowered bullshit.
I
Just
think that's
saying.
fair. I mean, honestly, like if colonization and the hauling associated with colonization was not so absurd, I would totally be fine with the Panther moving down in terms of hauling capacity by also possibly a significant amount. But with colonization in the current place, I mean, kind of that ship is designed for colonization, like inherently, like, and the amount of colonization hauling required. 50% more cargo than the cutter is like a design choice that they made specifically to deal with the inordinate amount of hauling that they introduced with building colonization
Well,
stations.
yeah, it's kind of. There was this saying that I had about pay to win back in the day. Let me think about it. Oh, right. You make a problem and you sell the solution.
Yeah, I know. I agree. That's really bad. I think that's
Yeah.
really bad. That's like the one thing that's kind of still kind of bitter in my mouth after this whole Dodec situation. Because like the biggest pet peeve I had was like the permanent paywall. That really was the biggest battle to fight. But honestly, the fact that there's now pay to skip is is profoundly annoying. Like profoundly annoying. But it's also like, a one-time thing, so per account. So it's like one of those compromises. Like, do you really pick a battle and start a cat fight over that, or do you accept it and move on? And
Oh
I think
hell!
most
I
of
will
us have
fight
decided to
against all
accept and move on.
microtransactions and this pay to win nonsense. I really
Well, this
will,
is
but
pay to skip.
again,
This is pay to skip.
again, pay to skip is
Right.
a term used to soften the pay to win title or term. It's a dirty title,
All
I
right.
get it, and people don't want to apply it to their favorite game because it's so
No, it's like,
dirty.
I mean, it's not that it's dirty, yeah, Max. It's like it's a different thing. Let me take a step back. I don't particularly care about pay to win, pay to skip, or whatever the semantics there. What I
Yeah, I get it.
fundamentally struggle with more inherently is what does winning in Elite Dangerous mean to you? What is winning? Define winning in
Winning.
Elite. Define winning in Elite.
That is not a thing that I think of Elite Dangerous.
Right. That's exactly
Okay.
the point. You're struggling with defining it because there really isn't a win condition in Elite Dangerous. You cannot win Elite Dangerous. I mean, you can kill a Hydra and a Panther Mark
Okay.
II, and that's kind of counts a little bit, I would argue. But
Right,
uh,
you're going for the. There is no. Okay, okay.
but that's the thing. You set
Let
your own
me
goal,
then
right? And then
bastardize
the
your
accomplishment
sentence
you
there
get.
about the pay to win. Okay, so there is no winning in Elite Dangerous, so we can accept further predatory monetization. There is no winning in the. No, yes,
No,
yes, yes. I can
didn't
do
say
the
that, and
same
that was my
bullshit you
point.
did to
Like,
me just now.
all
I can
right.
turn your. Don't even start
So
with me, son,
pay
on
to
this
skip.
nonsense.
No, we're getting into semantics. So it's the semantics of it.
It
Like
really
pay to
is.
skip is bad. I hate it. I hate the fact that they're coming to Elite. It's
Yeah.
I will argue against it. I'm 100% with you. On the semantics or whatever, is it pay to skip? Is pay to win? Is pay to win? Is pay to skip a part of pay to win? Like honestly, you care more about the semantics of it than I do. I could care less. It's still bad. If it's pay to skip or pay to win, they're equally bad in my head, where one is part of the other is part of the one or not. I honestly don't care that much. You seem to. That's fine. Uh, my point is they both suck equally. They're equally. They're the same thing or they suck equally. I think globally we agree they suck and they should not be a thing. And there's better ways to make money as a game developer than creating 60-hour grinds and then charging $30 to skip it. Like that's just not something I like or conceptually want to see in the game. Then you want to
Well,
call it pay to win or not, fancy you call it pay to win. I don't care, but that's not what I care about.
the thing is, I use pay to win more specifically because it is a very dirty term and it immediately gets people's attentions, but not like it comes without a merit either. I specifically call it out for that reason because it has an impact and also because I do believe that it is correct. Still, even setting aside the whole term itself, there is a funny term that oftentimes gets thrown out whenever a game introduces these pay-to-win, pay-to-skip, convenience things. It doesn't really matter. Really, at the end of the day, the game is getting more credit card gameplay. That's the problem. Essentially, you're swiping constantly and you're progressing in the game. And I find that to be a disgusting thing in most games because, well, would you really want a game where either you grind a lot of time or whatever, just play the game normally, however you want to progress, and you just have game constantly shove in your face the credit card swiping, and then you see people being happy about, hey, I swiped a couple of times and I'm happy about, like, that's perversion of the game.
Yeah, Max, for me, elite is a different thing. That's the thing, and that's probably fundamentally what it comes to. For me, progression in elite is a progression of skill. It's a progression of how good of a pilot you are. It's a progression of what you can do with your ship, what you can make your ship do, what can you accomplish as a skilled pilot. That is my progression in elite, and it is my own and personal one in a sandbox game where everyone candidly can have their own. For some people, it'll be colonization, and if colonization is your progression and it's a centerpiece of your gameplay experience in elite, then you are 100% right. This is like 1,000,000% pay to win, pay to skip, pay to whatever. But yes, it's getting all the wrong patterns there. For the type of gameplay I have, which is kind of I want to become a better pilot. Honestly, there's no amount of credit card swiping is going to teach you flight assist off. You know what I mean? Like, so for me, progression is show that you've mastered a new technique. Show that you can now do boost scoop. Show that you can now hoon in like Panther with 1,000 ton of laden cargo. Like that is what that is the meaning I've chosen to give elite as part of my experience, and it's far from the sort of like credit card swiping that we're talking about, which is I guess is also why I'm probably less touchy-feely about all this all. But I fully appreciate it.
I completely get it. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. The skill aspect of it certainly does matter. The problem is it's not alone in the vacuum. That's kind of where the problems start. You can try and ignore the reality that, hey, skill is only thing that matters, but the game structure, right, the game design itself actually does matter. Credits themselves, right? Sure, we can these days get, credits out the ass, left and right, and so on and so forth, but the fact that the game's environment is made and balanced on that idea that, there is economy in the game. Otherwise, well, what would be the point, right? Generally speaking, when you trivialize a certain part of the game mechanics, swiping essentially, well, then the game simply starts losing that meaning more and more. This is one of the reasons why I am so adamantly against the pay to win or pay to skip, whatever, right? It trivializes a lot of game. Not only it also does come with manipulative tactics and so on and so forth. And you can look at a very specifically narrow field of gameplay, like skill-based gameplay, but it doesn't come in just that vacuum. That's the problem. There's a saying you can not care, or I think there was hold on. You may not care about politics, but politics certainly cares about you. Right? That's sort of the idea that,
I made similar arguments. I mean, look, it's like people are saying, oh, well, I don't really care about this Stoic being permanently paywall because it doesn't affect me. And, the argument is like, well, this one doesn't affect you, but guess what? If nothing is done about this one, how long do you think is it going to be before something comes along and it does affect you? And at that point, are you going to expect others to speak up for you if you didn't speak up now for them? Like, there's that famous saying that is
Well,
that
yeah,
too.
that's another one, certainly. That
Uh,
is another one, certainly. So yeah, no, it's just crap place to be in overall with these ships, because now we have to not only talk about just the ships themselves or these new features, but also not only how much they cost in the microtransaction store to skip, but also just that. Hey, these things like Panther, Clipper, Type 9, Type 8, and all the other new ships, why they are so good, or
I
as
know,
I would
man.
call
Like,
them, overpowered, right?
look,
It's
part of
made
it
to
is I get it.
sell.
Look, yeah, I get it. I mean, you're jealous of how good my Beluga, my Arcs Beluga, my Arcs, it's like, oh, how good. Come on,
Oh,
can we agree
God.
that is not pay to win? Because there's no winning in that with that thing. Like that cannot be pay to win, right? Like it just cannot. Like that
I'm gonna
Beluga
get the
cannot be pay to
aneurysm.
win. Like you have to agree with me that at least that one is not pay to win.
Oh God, no, I will not yield. I will be fundamentalist on this. So join the
The
Yannick's Church of
Beluga, the
Fundamentalism.
three-day Beluga. I also want to bet. I want to see if anybody else bought that. I want to bet I am the only player in all of Elite who ever bought that
Oh
pre-built
God.
Eluga with arcs.
Oh, if only
I
we
want to see if we
saw
find
all,
anybody
all of
else.
the data about their finances, but sadly we only see the surface level. But yeah, right. Suppose we should probably move this a little bit further. There are still a couple of things we can chat about if you got a little bit of time. Couple of ships that
Sure.
we kind of touched upon in the first episode. The ship launch fighters. So,
Oh, SLFs.
yeah,
Oh, man.
want to talk about those?
No.
Oh no, that bad. Huh?
And you shouldn't either. I mean, they're just so bad. Like, I mean,
You had a
they're
wonderful quote from the first
What?
episode, and then a couple of lines as well. So feel free to describe what's the matter with SLFs, what they do, and what, more importantly, they don't do, and why nobody uses them really.
Yeah, so well, the short version is they suck. They're fun though. Like it's fun to fly around in an SLF or have a friend fly around with an SLF. During the Battle of Saul, I tell you about the unengineered Beluga, not Beluga. Now I'm stuck with a Beluga because you made me into a Beluga fanboy. But keelback, the unengineered keelback that went Titan bombing, and the keelback has a ship-launched fighter. So I had someone from the stream actually join me for a Titan bombing run and use a Taipan, an AX Taipan, as a sort of support for the keelback in a Titan bombing run of Correio. Um, so, and it sucked as bad as you would imagine it would suck, but I mean, look, the problem there's a few things that just don't work in the way things are designed. For one, the fact that NPCs steal your credits also when they're inactive. I don't know who made that design decision, but I generally hope they, you know, reflect on that and that design decision comes back to haunt them because candidly, why having an inactive NPC still takes like 5% of your total credit balance, it makes no freaking sense. It totally disincentivized using SLS in the first place, and it's just a poor design choice. It's against the fun factor. It's not a good choice. I'm fine paying them if I have them flying with me, but having them sitting in the bar, there should be some kind of union or pension fund or insurance policy or something that comes out of the rebuy money. I don't care. I kind of make it up like that it doesn't take my credits when I'm not flying with them because it's just not fun. So that is a fundamental design flaw with SLF and NPCs. And then the fact that they generally suck. They suck because they introduce lag in multiplayer instances. So like the netcode is designed in such a poor way that if you fire out NPC piloted NPC, there's chances that the whole instances get screwed up for pretty much everybody. This does
You
not
could
happen,
even
by the
back
way,
in the
with
day
like,
abuse them to lag
yeah,
switch, kind of. Or
yeah, it's like
basically,
it's
yeah,
terrible.
rubber band the whole thing very quickly by spamming the controls. And developers actually called it an exploit and would warn you, if not ban you for it. So remember, do not press the numpad when you're actively when you're fighting somebody in PvP. Don't do it.
Yeah, so
Don't do it.
that's terrible. Yeah, don't use ship launch fighters in PvP. Don't. I would argue don't use ship launch fighters in general unless you're kind of like
Apparently
flying
they
alone
fixed
in a canyon and
at
having
least part
fun.
of it, but still does introduce quite a bit of problems, yeah. And then,
So
of
anyway,
course, there were ship launch fighters specifically made for your favorite
Guardians.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, AX. Like, well, our joke is that the Guardians didn't really, because like in lore, the Guardians actually won the war against the Fargoids. But if you fly a Guardian SLF against a Fargoid, you start to doubt that original version of history because you're like, there's no way that these Guardian guys with these fighters won the war because these fighters get absolutely instantly deleted by even the lowliest of Fargoids. So, yeah, no. I mean, there, and I think we
Oh,
sort of talked about it
McCann,
at
but
some
what is
point.
the
Yeah.
reason why they get deleted?
The reason they got deleted is because they were designed to have low hull and high shields, which in and of itself is a cool design decision, right?
It is the
Make
lowest
something
hull
that is,
SLF,
yeah.
even less than the Empire one, yes.
So I mean, that sounds cool. Why not make something a shield tank? Nothing in principle wrong with it. And this was done at the time when Fargoid interceptors were originally released. After a while, in order to combat the sort of shield tanky meta, Frontier decided to start giving Fargoid interceptors shield and scouts too, by the way, shield piercing capabilities. So part of the damage that Fargoid interceptors and scouts do pierces shields. The problem is they did not change the hull of those fighters to match. So the piercing damage of Fargoid scouts over even the lowest of interceptors with its phasing damage will instantly kill any Guardian fighter. And that just sucks. In addition, they have no heat sinks, so they have no way to kind of conceal their signature. And they're permanently locked by interceptors and get shot down more or less immediately. So they're useless. But as you know, we were saying, they're fun. They can be fun to fly. They look good and they're fun. You got that going for them.
Yeah, very much so. They require quite a bit more maneuverability in order to actually be usable these days, which, yeah, I don't know, man. You really need to change the way the shield works, especially. It's still bizarre to see that the Guardian fighters are still coming with normal shields, despite the fact that they actually have unique shield look and also the effect of being broken apart and so on and so forth. These just why do the Guardian fighters not come with corrosion resistant shields is really beyond me. Like
corrosive resistance, shield piercing resistant, heat
yeah,
sink.
yeah.
You need those three things. But that's the other thing, by the way. You have no way to deal with environmental caustic damage. So if you ever get hit by a caustic missile, you're dead. There's nothing you can do. So I mean, if you want to make Guardian SLFs useful, you need to do those three changes. Stop them from having shield piercing from interceptors, give them heat sinks, and make them corrosion resistant. You do those three things, and they're going to be still relatively useless, but at least not a meme of how bad they are.
Oh, still looking at the little looks of them, just they look so cool, and yet they're so useless. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, so yeah, don't use SLFs. Sadly, they're just just not good. Not good at all. And they really need a lot of reworking in order to actually be useful. Well, we still have a little bit of time, I think. There are two, I guess, elephants in the room that we still have yet to talk about. Want to talk about the SRVs?
Oh, the SRVs. That's another think where honestly there's some weird design decisions made with the
Oh,
SRV.
really? Do tell.
I mean, for one, how the Scorpion drives, I don't understand whoever made it drive the way it drives. Sorry, not the Scorpion, the Scarab, the original SRV. Like, it drives really poorly. They kind of fixed that with the Scorpion, which now finally drives normally. But the problem with the Scorpion is they made the repeater gun up top inverse as far as accuracy is concerned. Like, in pretty much every game, in terms of like scatter, you start firing and you're accurate, and then the more you fire and the more inaccurate you get, the more your sort of volley spread increases. As like
Okay.
presumably with recoil, you get recoil, so you lose accuracy. I don't know whose inverted brain cells designed this, but with a Scorpion, you basically get the opposite. You start, and your repeater fires very inaccurate, and then the more you hold the fire, and the more accurate it gets, which makes no freaking sense whatsoever. I just don't understand why anybody would design it that way.
I
Like,
know where it actually comes from. Kind of. See, there is this wonderful little game that everyone really, really, really liked, called Battlefield 2042. And in there you had a turret for engineer you could place down, and it had exactly the same idea. The longer you shot, the more accurate it became.
yeah, it's terrible though. It's just
Yeah, definitely. Probably a few other games as well, but very good idea to copy that.
yeah, that was really not.
I mean, no, generally speaking, it does make sense. It's sort of gameplay-wise, it does force you to continue shooting if you want to be precise. Because hey, when you just start shooting somewhere and turn, well, obviously you need to aim real quick, and not having apparently any kind of aiming device on a military vehicle for some fucking weird reason, you would be searching for accuracy through just seeing where the bullets land, right? That's a World War One
I'll put some tracers or something.
idea. Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Right.
Jesus Christ. Oy. But yeah, interesting things. So when the Scarab is interesting, and of course Scorpion as well, to a certain degree. But Scarab especially, because here's the thing: history-wise, when Scarab was made, the first SRV, developers actually did promise more SRVs coming during the Horizons season. There is a clip back in my hypercritical reviews that I did back in the day. I specifically searched for that clip and I found it. David Braben even was the one talking about what would be coming for Horizons in early days when they announced the whole thing and how it would work essentially. I think it was the pre-launch talk that he gave about the whole thing. But regardless, he did mention that, hey, there would be multiple SRVs. First we get this, and then we will get more. And obviously people kind of remember that. I did too. And yeah, well, fat load of nonsense that was, wasn't it? Until Odyssey.
Well, they got the Scorpion, and I think there's been a bunch of work on the Rhino, but the Rhino never released.
Rhino is still in the game files, yeah, and who knows what that is. But yeah, the Scorpion is interesting. Okay, fine. Developers decided against releasing multiple SRVs because, you know, hey, this works and so on and so forth. That's all you really need. But yeah, when Odyssey released, Scorpion literally was the only other vehicle that Odyssey introduced. No new ships, no new nothing, unlike Horizon, which introduced multiple ships after it launched. Yeah, when Odyssey came out, literally 2 years later, we got the Scorpion, which was the funniest thing ever. I even remarked it as, hey, for $30, the only thing we really get that is kind of worth it is the Scorpion. Everything else is just throw in the dump. And even then, for AX, how actually usable is Scorpion? Do you even use it?
So for AX, it's actually problematic because whereas interceptors ignore the Scarab, the interceptors
Really?
yes, they ignore the Scarab. They consider the Scorpion an active hostile. So at
Oh,
At
okay.
spire sites, for example, if you're flying around with a Scarab, the interceptors leave you alone.
I
Uh,
see.
the Targons on the ground don't, so you still have to deal with Banships and Revenants,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
at
yeah.
least you don't have to deal with the interceptors in the sky. Versus
Huh.
like Scorpions, not so much. If you ever meet sort of hostile interceptors, they will happily fire on Scorpions, unlike Scarabs.
Huh.
And they don't. And by the way, they don't have AX weaponry, so
Yeah, obviously
you're
there's
not gonna
that.
really fight. You're not gonna really fight interceptors up from the ground um, with Scorpions or Scarabs. So they
Hmm.
used, they're used in. They were used at spire sites occasionally to deal with banshees and revenants, but um, the problem with that is that revenants and banshees are very good at killing SRVs. Very, very good at killing SRVs,
I see.
especially if they swarm them at close range, because the energy weapon of revenants in particular, the damage scales with range. The closer you are, the more damage you get. And if you kind of happen to fall with any SRV, be it the Skyro or Scorpion in the middle of three revenants, they would just murder you in like 4 seconds, and you barely have
Ah.
time to get out before your SRV explodes. So you had to keep your range, and if you kept your range, the in particular the missile of the Scorpion worked very well against Revenants, like the secondary fire mode missile
Mm-hmm.
thingy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Instead, in dealing with Banshees, you had to basically rush them and get right underneath them. If you got right underneath them, you could hit with your repeater cannon their weak spot, which is right underneath them, and they couldn't hit you if you were right underneath them because you were basically in their blind spot if you managed to get underneath below. But
Yeah, I see.
it was very risky because if, for instance, they did their sort of like sticky bomb fire and they happened to catch you with those sticky bombs, again, it was kind of game over for your SRV. So it was never SRVs and AX never mixed all that well.
Well, I suppose it's even less worth talking about FPS being useful against Targoids.
Well,
Well,
no,
since we
no,
don't
you
even
can't
have
really.
hand weapons for it anyway, so.
No, I mean the only Fargoid type of like on foot gameplay came with Spire Sites and Inspire
Yeah, right,
Sabotage
right, right,
missions,
right, right.
which was I thought it was a relatively interesting
Oh
jumping
yeah,
mini
no,
game,
absolutely.
right?
At first I thought that
Like,
hey, finally they're doing something, the Targoid combat. And the only Targoid combat at the time we got was just slightly different skimmers. Not the skimmers, but scavengers, right?
yeah, but Banshees. Anyway, that turned out to be like Super Mario Brothers Elite Dangerous Edition, jumping across
Yeah,
platforms.
yeah, yeah.
But I mean, like, it was something, right? It was something. Again, I do think they could have done so much more with it,
Oh,
but
absolutely. Any FPS game out
they
there can
didn't.
tell you there's plenty to do with FPS combat. I can tell you that. And as a fanatic of FPS combat, I honestly found whatever
Also, there's
Odyssey
no combat
released.
in it. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
literally just a platform game without combat. So,
yeah.
uh, yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah, what a sour note to end on, I suppose. Well, in any case,
Yeah.
these are all the ships and extras. So, I don't know, what, did we miss anything? I don't think so.
Uh, we talked about SRVs, talked about ship launch fighters. We talked about pretty much all the ships. We haven't talked about carriers and squadron carriers. I guess that's the
Oh
only
gods, I hate every single
vehicle
fucking...
vehicles
Alright.
that we fly.
Alright, so...
Carriers are great. Carriers are great.
Fine, fleet carrier, what do you think?
They're awesome. Fleet
Alright.
carriers are awesome. They're fun. They're like an end game thing to do. They're like your mobile home. Like there's one of the songs I produced in the latest album is actually called "Home is Where Your Carrier Is," because it's true. It's like home is where your carrier is. You can bring your home along with you. You're a little bit hermit, like you're a little hermit crab with all your ships and going wherever you're going into the black or wherever you're moving into combat zones at the California Nebula, wherever you're sticking close to home proper in the Pleiades. At least for us, it's a home away from home.
Alright, well, then the big question, obvious elephant in the room about the carriers is, it originally was meant for only squadrons. Should have fleet carriers as a whole should have been given to individual players?
I mean, look, they ended up doing both, right? There's now
Yeah,
personal
yeah.
carriers and there's squadron carriers. So, talking about dichotomies, that's one dichotomy I think they got right. I think it's great that there's individual carriers and there's squadron carriers that are more expensive, but also more capable than individual squadrons, but you can only have one per squadron. But it is something that becomes more of a shared joint property where you have like multiple permission groups. People can use it and jump it and do things around it. And honestly, I mean, I love carriers. I love individual carriers and I love squadron carriers. That's one part of the game which I think is really well done. Of all things, to be honest.
Okay, well, all right, fair enough. So then the obvious final question on the carrier itself is, does it have faults you see needing fixing, or is it too powerful? Uh,
I mean,
what
there's
changes do you
bugs.
want it?
I mean, I want the bugs fixed. I got the bugs with cargo transfer. Like, oh, the bugs need to be fixed. But it's a polishing pass. Like the functionality, I think, is in a good place. I wouldn't change a thing of all the carriers from a functionality standpoint. Like,
All right then.
oh, and squad. I mean, the one big debate, honestly, is oh, ouch. The one big debate is with squadron carriers, right?
Yeah.
They made it. They made it so that you can transfer credits. They made it so that you can transfer unengineered ships, but they
Yeah.
stopped short of being able to transfer engineered modules,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or power play modules. That is, I guess, to kind of get away, avoid
Wait,
people getting
you can't
around. But
transfer the power play modules as well, right?
no no engineering modules. So no tech broker modules.
Ah,
No power play
gotcha.
modules.
Right.
Not even former tech broker modules. Like for example, caustic sinks are now generally available, but because they were originally
I
tech broker
see.
modules, you can't actually have caustic
Right.
sinks on ships that
Right.
are transported on carriers.
All right. All right.
Um,
Got it.
and that's been a big debate, which again, it's one of the many battles that you could fight every day. And honestly, we let that one go too. I don't know if we're right or wrong. Like the argument was we wanted people to be able to also share engineered ships, but Frontier didn't want to go there very clearly. And
Well, I mean, the fact that they allowed credit transfers, that's already way too lenient. Because again, you're basically allowing players to invalidate progress or
it was already
design
happening.
progress.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
to me
Doesn't mean that,
that to me
that's
was
a good
like,
thing. Even if it
like
was happening, doesn't mean that that's a good thing. That's the problem. You're
well, I don't know. I
invalidating
think it was
a
mostly a good
core
thing.
economy. That's the problem with
I mean,
transferring credits
credits
between
lost their. I
people.
mean, credits lost their meaning as a core economy like 5 years
But they
ago. Yeah,
shouldn't. That's the problem as well, isn't
like
it?
maybe, but they did. I mean, it's like in order for. I mean, to kind of bring it back to what you're saying, that
Yeah.
credits be meaningful in the player economy, you would need to so heavily come down on so many things currently in the game that I
They
don't
should.
know. Uh, maybe a bridge too far in my book.
You can't get a
But
better game if you don't burn and eradicate all engineering.
well, that is different, and that I fully agree with. No question. Engineering just sucks.
Murder
Worst,
engineering.
worst part
Delete
of
it.
absolute worst part of Elite is engineering just sucks. It's really bad. But
There's
credit
that.
transfers, no. Credit transfers, I disagree. I think those are like already happening in game. They're pretty harmless. They're used for. I mean, without credit transfers, you wouldn't have a player economy where people are paying other players to like load up their carriers for colonization. And honestly, I think that's a good thing. Like that you can put orders that other players can fill, where basically you earn credits the way you want, and then you pay
Yeah.
people credits to load carriers because you want to do something else instead of doing that. I mean, you need credit transfers to be able to create and enable that. If you don't have credit transfers, you can't because you can't
Well,
fulfill contracts.
you're kind
And
of
like,
mixing two things. You're mixing the direct, effortless transfer with encouraged gameplay, or sort of emergent gameplay portion of it. Essentially, the game is encouraging players to play together and rewards them by giving credits or between the playing parties some more credits, and that's a good thing to have indeed. That kind of a gameplay encouraging credit transfer, yeah, that's something that is good. You're encouraging people to play together, pure and simple. However, the direct transfer that allows the squadron bank, no, that's so effortless, pointless, and really just a again, it invalidates the economy of the game rather than encourages play together. It's okay to sacrifice a little bit of that in-game economy if you encourage people to have fun together. That's a good thing, right? It's fine. But yeah, when it comes to straight transfer, you look at any MMORPG out there and you're gonna see pretty much the same ideas around. You should not invalidate your main economy, and that being specifically for Elite Dangerous, the credit transfers.
No, the main economy of Elite is materials, not credit transfers.
Don't even start. I'm
As we
40
both know,
hours in my
right.
challenge. I want to die. Oh god. But yeah, no, it's materials is, that's why I say just get rid of engineering, fucking Christ. But nah, okay, I'm being facetious there, but regardless, let's see. Right, fleet carriers, right? So fleet carriers, bringing it back. My view was obviously from back in the day still that the upkeep, get it out of the game. It's a manipulative tactic that should not exist. Fuck it out of the window. Like, no, please no. And the other thing, obviously, that is highly requested, highly required as well, is to make carrier inventory, specifically things to sell, custom, not package based, but custom, allowing players to decide on what things to sell on their carriers by individual components. Because this package nonsense, like, no. Why? I get it, it's easier to code, but how about we do better than bare minimum?
What do you mean with package?
So when you equip shipyard, not shipyard, but outfitting in your fleet carrier, you, in order to house certain modules in it, you have to buy packages rather than individually choose which modules your fleet carrier would sell. This would allow you to not only save on space, but also allow you to customize your fleet carrier the way you would like to, which just makes sense. More customization is always better.
I agree. I mean,
you can
honestly,
always also offer packages to sell, no problem. You can have both.
I agree with sentiment. I don't think it's one of the major things, but I agree with
sentiment. Sure, yeah, but again, it's a topic, so there you go.
I agree.
But anyways, let's see. Oh, right. For the end of the stream, then. Well, since I've managed to corrupt you plenty enough, and comments will reflect that I've corrupted the poor innocent McCann. Yes, all hate Yamix, yes, of course. So then, big question is, McCann,
you just wait until Yamix buys also one of those.
Oh God,
and see who's corrupted who.
Totally. So McCann, do you feel manipulated right now by yours truly?
Not particularly.
See, it's working, folks. It's working. He doesn't even notice.
Yeah, if you done it, you done it kind of very surreptitiously.
He's turning to the dark side soon. But no. So for the end of the stream, then the last question is, out of the ships, out of the 40, how many we got? 44 ships right now that we have.
44 or 45, the Corvette Mark 4.
44 or 45. Well, not counting ship launch fighters and so on and so forth. But which of the ships, or let's call it, which of the 3 ships do you want to change the most? And would encourage, perhaps, in a weird sense, maybe in a far-fetched future or present, developers were watching, which one would you recommend them change first? 3.
So I get to pick 3? You're saying which 3 ships I would
go for 3.
Most? I think the Imperial Cutter I would, I mean, and again, the spirit is not which are the ones that need the most changing, but the ones I would just personally ask to change because personal.
Go for it.
Yeah, I would say the Cutter is probably up high on the list. So Cutter and Corvette are probably 2 of the top ones, but I would change. And then which one would be the 3rd? I
think I know the answer already.
third is a bit more conflicted because I think,
Oh, really?
yeah, a bit more conflicted because I mean, I must like my general feeling would be if you change something, you change it for the better, not for the nerf. So, I mean, if you were to include nerf, then I think there are ships that are more obvious choices in terms of like getting nerfed. I mean, obviously the Cobra Mark V, Panther, um, and Corsair are overpowered compared to their respective categories. So those would kind of need nerfing if you were look at nerfs. But I'd rather not look at nerfs and look at buffs. And if you were to buff things, I would probably buff the Cutter. I would buff the Corvette, and you know what I would pick? I would put the Crate Mark II up there. I would
Crate
put the
Mark
Crate
II.
Mark.
Okay, that's an interesting
Yeah.
one. What do you change for that one then?
It's tricky because again, with the Corsair does everything the Crate does better, essentially. So we would need to find like a new and different role for the Crate, of something that doesn't become redundant and just doesn't become a power creep with a Corsair. So I think I tossed out the idea of like making it like a large slot specialist, so that it has like two upgraded slots for having like 5 large slots and being the only medium ship that has five
Oh,
large
right,
slots.
I remember that suggestion.
Which
Jeez. No, it's
which
not a power creep on Corsair at all. 5 larges.
yeah, but it becomes a little gunshipy, you know? Like it becomes a little gunshipy. It's like it hits hard, but it doesn't have a hull, it doesn't have the speed, it doesn't have the maneuverability. So you can give it more guns if it doesn't have as much of anything else, is my argument. But it doesn't have to be that. It could be something else. It could be something where there's like some other kind of benefit that makes it just not completely obsolete. It's just a ship that and I know many others have spent so much time in that I would love to see it have some kind of like renaissance of some kind.
Yeah, no, fair enough. No, yeah, all right. Interesting indeed. Well then, let's see. We got anything else? Fuck it. I'll go with my own 3 picks. So, Federal Gunship needs improvements in a lot of places. Take a stat and go for it. Speed, definitely. Vulture, my beloved, definitely needs changing. And shits and giggles, Keelback. Make the stupid ship.
Keep my keelback the way it is.
It needs more speed. The ouch potato needs some love.
No, I like the keelback. The keelback is my ugly puppy. It's really ugly, but he looks beautiful to me.
Oh, it's disastrous, yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, I think that'll be about it for this evening. So we finally finished the 3-part series. So hopefully you folks enjoyed. There's plenty of interesting information, so feel free to share it around. Check out my
guys, in our upcoming series, we will be reviewing all ARC's purchased ships one by one and give you our feelings of how bad they are. I don't know. We'll come up with something. But anyway, thank you all.
I'm a dad with a real job, and I work in real job. So I come home and I swipe my card, and I get to catch up. Okay, how dare you judge me?
All right. Well, guys, thank you all. Thank you. The Amex was fun as always. Glory to mankind. And peace.
All right then. Thank you all, and indeed, that'll be about it for this evening. Bye.